Hi there to our many viewers. Today is the 7th of May 2023, not as I put on Thursday 2024, which raised some questions from a few people watching, including Pimpin X, who said, "What
Mm.
year is this?" It is 2023, not 24, as I thought. Or mistakenly put. But most importantly, I suppose, yesterday in the UK was the Day. Sorry, Dre
Coronation Day, congratulations.
Coronation Day,
Oh,
and people were celebrating the coronation of the King, aka Prince Charles, who became King Charles. I
what
was.
number?
I don't know. I don't even know
Oh,
that.
God.
I'm not that.
Terrible.
Here we've got some exclusive an exclusive shot I've just had sent in behind the scenes at the coronation in London. Here we go. Sherilyn Fenn and Scott
Scott
Ryan
Ryan.
were in attendance.
Wow. It was a star-studded affair, obviously.
Yeah, someone sent me that picture saying that I can't remember whether it was Josh or who sent it me, but they're saying that T-shirt or the top polo neck is very flattering on Scott, and
Mm.
I'm not sure if that was meant sincerely or what, but anyway, I think he looked good.
He's thin.
Uh,
He's talking.
well, yeah.
That
Anyway,
helps.
I think that's a personal comment which people should leave out, really. And if they were having a great time at the coronation of King Charles, or then good luck to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least they're being classy about it. I imagine Josh was drunk off his tits since Thursday and probably continuing into
Yeah.
today, nonstop.
Now I've actually invited him on, but he's probably
He's too drunk.
so off his tits he wouldn't come on.
Yeah.
He's now in Belgium, I believe.
Off his tits, and he's taking it international to celebrate the Queen or
Well,
the
I think he
King.
was basically so off his tits that he accidentally just got on a train to Belgium,
That can happen.
as a laugh with his girlfriend, and now he's there, and he's begging for change on the street.
No.
in Bruges, and even offering sexual favors because he basically lost all of his money somewhere.
Oh, I think
What money he had. So
I hope that's not true.
well, I wish him luck.
Now, if he wants to do that, that's his business. I don't judge him. Sex work is work, as they say.
I would agree. Yeah, I definitely, especially for someone like Josh who's got a very fine ass.
Oh, Jesus.
I've told him that many a times.
I know you have.
And I made a lot of songs about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently made a song about when I was in Lancaster and he was wearing black jeans, and obviously they're going to make you sweat more on a sunny, humid day. And I remember seeing beads of sweat, in his ass cleavage when he sat down.
Mm.
So I wrote a song about that.
Well, that's a seduction technique by him.
Probably trying to seduce Vin.
I think so. And you. And anyone in the vicinity, really.
That's why I did the thing where I dropped my trousers, I think. I was just responding to that.
That's a product of his seduction technique. He's very proud of it.
Josh says he still doesn't like that shirt.
Okay, well.
I thought he was attacking me on my shirt then, but no. I think it's a good shirt, Josh. And, if you actually were a bit more open-minded, you'd try some different fashion tips from people like Scott. I mean, just imagine if you had a T-shirt, and you could usually get them longer if you're a tall person. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and I think with you, Josh, you're not small. You could still get a tall one, and it would make you look taller even. So, if you had a T-shirt that went down just to above the knees, and then on the front it said
"Complete twat."
Out soon by Scott Ryan's Fist of Love. So promote it like that. And I actually saw somebody. He makes a lot of posts, and I do share a lot of them for the Blue Rose magazine and Scott, because I think he's doing a good thing. But one person responded when, like, there was mention of the Lost Highway book, The Fist of Love, and they put The Fist of Love. Really, that really the title? So,
well, it was a controversial title, and I'm sure he did that on purpose. He knew what he was doing. I don't know how you call something The Fist of Love and not know what the implications of that are.
Well, when you're promoting something like that, it's not going to have the sales of his Barbra Streisand book that he's just put out,
or a moonlighting book.
Well, either. I would imagine the Barbra Streisand is the biggest seller.
You think? You don't think there's a lot of moonlighting fans out there? Clamoring for a book about it.
We've been waiting 30 goddamn years for this book.
It's about goddamn time somebody did this.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, maybe there'd probably be people actually, like the Star Wars fans, camping outside the bookshop on it.
I would imagine.
And then you get inside and they say, sorry, it's only available on Amazon. Fucking hell. MGA is under that shirt, says Dan. Yeah, that is actually possible. You could be hiding out with Scott Ryan, I think.
That's what she's thinking. Put the picture back up again, please. I want to take a little closer look at it. All right. He's just standing in an odd position. I think that's why the shirt looks odd. And he is tall and lanky. I mean, he's not a very snappy dresser, I'll say that, considering he's meeting these celebrities and mixing with them,
Well, surely the main thing is to be comfortable. I mean, look, Sherilyn Fenn looks good and everything, but she's not dressed like in some kind of, like she's a member of the royal family.
I don't approve of dressing this way for him when he's going to be, he's sort of like an emissary. He's not just your average convention goer, and he's going to be mixing with these celebrities. He could do a little better than this. How old is this picture? Because if you look at the back there, the gentleman in the glasses in the back left corner there, you see him?
It says Harley next to.
Correct. That gentleman there with the glasses. Look at his jeans. Those are very baggy jeans. Now, that's a much older style.
Yeah, but people do save jeans, don't they?
So you're thinking he's just wearing old jeans?
Particularly guys.
So this is a recent picture, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but how many... You can see that guy's got baggy jeans, a shirt of some kind, and sports shoes, trainers as well.
That's sadly become I don't know if that's a thing over there, but that's all men wear nowadays.
Yeah, but it looks very... Well, they're actually like running shoes. I mean, I wear some that are a bit like that, but I do wear a particular brand that I think are particularly special, And but I will say it's not... I mean, it's not like kind of giving off the impression of smartness much when you dress like that.
And the gentleman directly behind Scott Ryan, he's got the wallet chain going there. And he's almost, look how much his wallet is protruding from his ass pocket. He's almost, that's right, Phantom Cooper. He's almost inviting people. Yeah, go ahead, grab my wallet, you fucks. I have a chain. He's made it more appealing to the pickpockets, if anything.
Well, he's probably got no actual cash in there or anything.
It's a pretty fat wallet, though. Look at how thick that wallet is. It's relatively thick.
We don't even know for sure if that's the wallet. I mean,
what do you think it is? Maybe a camera holder or something? Maybe. Or his phone?
Well, I don't really understand, especially with regard to the chain. So,
the chain wallet? It's a security measure.
Well, no, but I mean, you wouldn't have a chain phone, would you?
No. unless you had a case that you put
although
the
it makes
phone in.
sense.
You know, I mean, that's a European thing. I mean,
Yeah, that
pickpocketing.
guy does look very French, I would say. It's
Mm. Mm.
sophisticated. Like he could
Mhm.
have maybe like a baguette under his arm and one
We
of
don't
those
know what he's
berets.
holding there, what he's holding up. You know, it could be he could be offering a baguette.
Yeah,
So you don't
saying,
know if this is a recent convention, then, do you?
I think it's not that recent, actually. You're right,
Hmm.
but it's not. It's not like 10 years ago. I don't believe.
Mm. Mm.
But it's hard to tell because Scott Ryan looks the same in all his photos.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking, Phantom Cooper. Especially the gentleman in the back there that I pointed out with the super baggy jeans. These guys uh, are stuck in the 90s, early 2000s in a way. And I'm not criticizing these people. These are convention goers having a good time. I notice, it's just my observation. Who is that gentleman with all the tattoos behind the counter signing stuff? Do you recognize who that is?
Oh right. No, I don't think they're even stood at a Twin Peaks stand by the looks of things.
Oh, I see.
They could be literally stood somewhere else.
Correct. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That's presumptuous on my part.
Mm,
All right.
I just wanted to show another great picture that I found this week, and
Mhm.
could prove inspiration for you because I know you want something like this done. So
Mm.
this is a two of the mill in Twin Peaks, and as you can see, there's a house above it, or even I don't know. It
Unrelated?
almost looks like a church, but it's not. It's yeah, unrelated. But I think to have different examples of architecture on your back is a good idea, definitely.
That hand picture with the hand mouth or whatever. What's that from? That's familiar to me.
I don't know. It's like a robot hand by the looks of it. So,
No, it's got a mouth. It's a monster.
oh, okay. I
Okay.
don't. I mean, that just seems totally out of place to me.
Well,
When
it's right next to the mill. It's part of Twin Peaks.
Because if I saw someone
Um,
with like that on their back, I'd be like, "This is awesome." But then if I
yeah.
saw the hand, I'd be like, "What are you doing? You're making it look like a joke." You know?
Now, is that? I guess that house is from a movie, or that's the house this gentleman grew up in, or. Um,
Uh, I think that's the care home he was brought up in, and alongside Phantom Cooper, he was subjected to some terrifying ordeals there.
mm.
He just wants to remember it, like that.
And what has he done to his right arm?
That's what you call sleeving.
Yeah, exactly. Was he covering up a sleeve tattoo and he just made it gray?
I mean,
I
that's not
mean,
even. It's not sleeve artwork. It's just like, okay, I want to
I'm gonna
be.
make my arm gray.
I want to be a black guy.
I want to look
But
like I have a petrified arm, petrified stone or something, petrified wood's arm. So, all right. Well, so this man is mutilating himself,
this
obviously.
person has questionable
Mhm.
ideas for tattoos. I'm not making fun necessarily of the mill and the house and everything on his back because compared to a lot of tattoos people get, at least
Absolutely,
some thoughts gone into this. And you
it's
clearly
original.
I want buildings on my back. Okay, all right.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not predictable, is it? Like people getting religious iconography or I don't know pictures of like swastikas, that kind of thing. I mean,
Mhm.
Josh has got one on his chest, so.
Now, Fanta Cooper, when you say jeans are for dads, do you mean baggy jeans are for dads? Or just in general, wearing jeans is considered an old man thing nowadays? That's interesting. I like to get the
Well, I
opinion
I
of a
think if you wear
20-year-old.
grey jeans like some I've got,
Mhm.
that's quite good. That's sort of an in between because
Mhm.
unless they're covered in stains, like mine can sometimes be, they, pass for being smartish. I suppose they're not.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, it's not like you're wearing new metal style baggy jeans with chain
Mhm.
on it and rips in them and kind of bits that are all faded, that kind of thing, which Josh still wears when he's about
Oh,
around town.
no, he's very fashion conscious. Remember how you were so jealous of, envious of that suede jacket he was gallivanting about in. Um, yeah, you're right, Vancouver. He very well may be a Nazi who's reformed and now wants to just cover up all those hate symbols he had on his right arm, and he's gone ahead
Yeah,
with
he was
the.
probably a
Yeah.
Nazi who suddenly decided, okay, now I'm really into the mill in Twin Peaks. I want that on my back.
Mm.
Because the thing is, it's a bit like, the mill. Okay, it's in the opening of the show and everything, but it's not in kind of really shown in that detail. And I don't know, what are you commemorating? The scenes where Shelley's tied up in the mill? I don't know.
I think they just want to be original. Blue jeans are very dad-like. My God, thank you for that information. I'm very be very careful about my attire going forward. I really got to look at that.
I don't. I don't really think that's true, Phantom Cooper. I mean, it really depends on if they're like
Baggier.
mom
Really?
jeans or like
Ugh.
the kind of bright blue. That's a bit
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable. Somebody like Josh gets over all of this kind of thing by wearing just black jeans because he's like, oh yeah, that looks cool.
I have a pair of black jeans. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't wear them as well as Josh, like in that tough guy manner that he wears them, like that lad culture manner that, as you guys call it, right?
No, I mean, the way he wears it, I would describe it as more just fascist culture. Like he only wears them once and then gives them away to a charity shop or something and buys another pair brand new, fresh, off off the shelf.
Like he's Justin Bieber or something.
No, he just says, I never wear a pair of jeans twice.
That's what I mean. That's like Justin Bieber level.
Well, it's a bit, for me, I think of Josh as being a snob, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Is he really in Belgium? Is he he's just on holiday in Belgium, is he?
He's now there, yes, but he seems to be. I sent him an invite to come on, and he's just completely ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. Well, what's this tweet?
This is a Ronald Yoder Senior.
18 hours ago? Is this really 18 hours ago?
No, that's from a while back now.
Okay, go ahead.
It's about Mandela Man wanting to watch Boxing Helena whilst Julian Sands is missing.
Oh, that's right. That was hilarious. As a tribute to Julian Sands being missing, he thought it was a good time to pay tribute by watching the film.
Okay, bro. Yeah, I mean,
bro,
it's. I don't think it was intended as being insensitive at all or anything, because he's totally divorcing that film from any kind of real life aspect.
Was he ever found, by the way? Do you know?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it was snow, impassable, by snow at that point. So.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh, okay. I thought he just disappeared. So he went on like a ski trip and he's been missing?
I think he just went hiking on his own.
I'm against hiking.
That's kind of, well, I mean, it depends what you mean by hiking. If someone just wants to go in warm countryside and within near to sort of civilization on their own, that's fine, and they've got a phone on them and things like this. But
it always turns into people wanting to go into these areas, these mountainous areas, and at all hours, even in the evening, and people break ankles and get attacked by mountain lions out here, shit like that,
Yeah, I don't see the appeal of going into really wild areas or desolate and sort of being on your own. That's just, I don't know. I mean, to travel through, if you're on some guide or something or some trip with a coach and all this kind of thing, you just stop and look at a really amazing, beautiful landscape. But I don't want to be just stuck in the middle And yeah, I am actually similar to Josh in that, I demand 5-star sleeping accommodation because
like that boat.
yeah, like the canal boat in Manchester. Like, yeah, I don't want to be in a tent on a slight incline and then it gets to the point where you can't move the tent. It's too late, too dark. You
Mm-hmm.
have to try and sleep, and you just can't get comfortable because you've set it up in a wrong way. And even if it was on the perfect, horizontal axis, and your ass was completely
Exposed to the elements.
happy. No, you felt happy and everything.
Mm.
And you'd erected your flag saying the fist of love, just as a safety measure. I don't like. I mean, especially if I was on my own, I would feel, exposed, and like what the hell's going to happen overnight? Well, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I can't get to sleep. Any moment, this is going to descend into something like a scene from Deliverance. And that would be if I was just camping out in Derby River Gardens.
Okay. Derby, what's that like?
Well, it is a central area of benches and a few things like just next to the river, really, and there's lots of pigeons and birds and stuff. So, but it's very much no one would camp there. You wouldn't be allowed to anyway. Although sometimes there are homeless people who camp around the city centre.
That doesn't count. Having a caravan, that's a very European thing. A lot of people have a little caravan they hook to the back of their car and go out places, right? That's very common out there, isn't it?
Yeah, my parents, my dad had one, and first of all, he had a pretty basic one, rather old fashioned, and then it got a little bit bigger, maybe. But the time, of course, where I was in and I was reading Smash Hits magazine, looking at pictures of the B-52s and masturbating. That was. Then my dad said, "Can whoever please keeps vibrating the caravan, please stop it." He knew full well it was me, of course.
How humiliating. But you did that to yourself, I will say. Your dad was correct in that.
I think what he did was wrong.
I'm okay with shaming people like that.
I actually think what he did was borderline sexual abuse, if anything.
Yeah,
So
that's a bit dramatic.
And I have actually reported him recently.
Okay. Is there a statute of limitations?
No, I just rang up the police and said 30 years ago I was reading Smash Hits magazine and this happened whilst I was in it. And then recently I was reminded of this whole incident when I was sleeping in a canal boat in Manchester. And it just reminded me how hard that was for me to overcome.
So what, did you see the redhead in the go-go boots and that got you going back then?
Yeah. It was the singer, more the main singer, Cindy, anyway, there was the one with the blonde hair, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, but they're wearing those those mini skirts and go-go boots. It's very attractive.
Yeah, I just think it was one sort of straightforward form of experiencing, my sexuality at a young age, really.
I think you could sue the record company and the band individually, the members of the band, especially the lead singer. The side of a road, and there's a sign that says love.
That's actually a really good impression. Yeah, it's.
I got me a Chrysler. It's big as a whale.
That was the literal song that was out at the time. That was, but I did actually tweet to him, Fred, whatever his name is, no response.
Oh.
So I basically had to get advice from somebody who I knew would understand about this kind of stuff online.
Yeah.
Scott
Who was
Ryan.
that? Okay, yeah. He has a
Uh,
sympathetic ear, if
and
nothing else.
he said basically, I understand with you, and bear in mind, James, I'm 100% with you on this.
Mm.
So,
Let's see if the B-52s are still touring. Oh, they're at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Who wouldn't want to go see that? I actually would go see that. They're
I
there
just want to
this
make.
week.
Can
Yeah,
I
go
just say,
ahead.
I want to make it clear though that Scott Ryan did actually. There is a second photo where he put his hand down, his left hand, lower, and he was clutching Sherilyn Fenn's breast. And
Well, that was your picture where you could tell that you had when you had your arm there. It was at the swell of her ass. The picture of you with her.
no, that was a rumor spread by other people in the Twin Peaks community who were jealous of me. So don't think that happened.
I don't think that hairstyle looks good on her. She looks better with longer hair.
This is from a while back, but you will be pleased to know that I actually watched the Pope's Exorcist last night, if you can call it watching it, because I was
Now, yeah, go ahead.
I was browsing through other things at the same time.
So I saw it on some Russian websites, and I had intended to watch it last night. Coincidentally, I wish I had stayed awake. I fell asleep though, but my intention was to watch it. Is it really in HD on these Russian websites already?
It was for me.
Okay, so how the hell are they getting an HD copy of that thing already? Is it available to stream?
I think that's the same. It's the same with like so many different things that are available now. They must be taking it off the hard disk or distributed Blu-rays or something of it.
Well, some things are being released for purchase super duper quick. And I wonder if that's one of them now. Like, for example, you can already rent Dungeons and Dragons. So if there's I saw there was an HD version of Dungeons and Dragons at the same place. That made sense to me. Oh yeah, you can rent or buy it now. Okay, so it really is an HD thing. Same with Renfield. So
you can rent or buy the Pope's Exorcist.
You can in America. I don't know about.
Well, I think there's no time to waste with these releases because they get a certain degree of hype, and that Pope's Exorcist was absolutely overhyped in terms of ads and everything, trailers. But yeah, they obviously just want to do it as fast as possible before people realize that this film's not very good. That's the
So you can rent it in the US for $13.24 or purchase it, a digital copy, of course, for $18. Now that is, my friend, a bargain. Because a movie ticket is not much more than that, certainly. $18 is like, stop it. Don't say that. Come on. All right, go ahead. Give us your...
So basically, but the thing is, though, you've got it basically in your TV then, or in your Fire
Amazon,
Stick.
On your Amazon account.
Yeah, okay, amazing. But it's still not... frankly, to buy anything, it would have to warrant rewatching. And so,
yeah, but I think their logic is like, if people don't want to wait and they're willing to rent it for $13.24, and this would get me too. They figure, hey, let's add $5. They'll just pay the extra $5 and they'll think it's a big deal to own a copy in the event they ever want to watch it. Like, if I was so keen on watching this and I saw $13, I said, okay, for another $5, I can own the film. I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and pay that extra $5. It's actually not bad, a bad marketing tactic.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's all it is. It is more. It is just a marketing technique.
Correct.
Like if you buy a Blu-ray, or now you get a 4K disc or etc. Basically, you've got it, haven't you? And then you've got the 2 discs or something with extras on them and all this kind of thing. So, really having it on your Amazon account, I'm not sure. You don't get any extras with that. You just get the film.
No, you don't. You just get the film.
So, not that I'd want to get extras of the Pope's Exorcist, but
yeah. Cindy Palacios, where are you seeing? Are you in the U.S. or are you in another place? Now, Now, before you give us your review, I just want to read some of the reviews here on Amazon, if I could here. If you'll, the title of this review is Seinfeld Remake of Ghostbusters. This was submitted by an Amazon customer, reviewed on May 3rd, just recently. Russell Crowe is always good, but this story/script is cartoonish. More funny than scary, with Crowe as a fat boozer former coward who joins forces with a sexual degenerate fellow priest. Also, as usual, lots of implicit anti-Christian bigotry in this film's depiction of church history without context, of course. Very disappointed. Quite a departure from the Exorcist film tradition, which was cultured and intelligent. Basically, the priests are Ghostbusters for the Pope, and they use spells and magic coins to defeat a super demon. Sad. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's fairly accurate, but on the other hand, I'm not really sure about the aspect of it being derogatory towards religion or anything like that. I didn't pick up on that personally, but I think that the film, it definitely doesn't have a sort of seriousness to it that, say, The Exorcist did have. This just almost, it does have a silliness to it, but it's not scary at all.
Oh, what about this one from Kayla King? Russell Crowe delivered. Loved watching this movie. That's not a very... She gave it 5 stars. This fella said, still a gladiator after all these years. With an already solid script in hand, Russell Crowe's performance was Oscar-worthy. Do you agree with that sentiment?
This is from Rotten Tomatoes, is it?
No, these are Amazon reviews. Oh. Amazon users. The best Exorcist movie since The Conjuring. So he thinks it's an Oscar-worthy performance. There you
go. I mean, the film has, like, for the first half, nearly, it has Russell Crowe speaking in Italian. And I presume, and well, obviously, it has subtitles. And because I was watching a pirate copy, it didn't have any subtitles and I couldn't enable any.
Okay, well, apropos to that, this review right here, it's titled Must Read. This is a great movie. However, I bought this movie on Amazon, and the version on Amazon, unlike in theaters and all movies you may own, there is no captions for when the movie switches languages. 90% of the opening scene itself is in Italian. I would say 20% of the first act is in Italian. Even though the options state the movie has English subtitles, subtitles were in all theaters, it will not translate in captions like most other movies. I requested help on this from the Amazon customer service team, and they said I had to post this. Please be aware. Please beware of the above. So it looks like the pirated copy that's floating around is this Amazon copy. And according to this gentleman, this gentleman, Barry Plasinski, there is no subtitle, so that's consistent.
So basically, Amazon says, sorry, we can't enable any subtitles for you, so you can watch the proper version of the film, but you can warn everyone else. That's it. Mm-hmm. You do our job for us, basically.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Amazon is pretty good with their customer service. I imagine they offered them a refund or a credit.
Probably.
I am going to watch this film, and I do wish I'd stayed up last night now that I know that you watched it.
Well, I will say, Voltaire, like, you don't kind of, the way you're saying, the way you're expressing it is as if you're looking forward to it.
I am very much looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since I saw the trailer.
Well, I was a bit more positive about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tried watching it in the first place. But the film was a letdown because essentially it starts off okay, and visually as well. I was sort of thinking, okay, this is well filmed. The coloring and everything of it all was good, and it shows a family going to live in this big kind of castle mansion place. I don't know why, but so it's just your typical spooky house thing. But the young boy basically becomes possessed within minutes of entering the house, and then that's it. That's the entire film. That's just him doing. And then when you know that it's Ralph Ineson as well, and the little boy, his acting as possessed is frankly very low standard. It's just,
No,
I mean, it's literally on a par with something like
Home Alone.
Scary Movie, though. It's just that.
Oh, it's almost like parody level. You're saying?
Yeah, it's just this little boy, and he's sort of like, maybe he was about 10 in real life. I don't know. And he's just, it's just him sort of going, it's just, I mean, obviously, and he's not doing the voice at all. And he's, well, I wouldn't expect him to, but yeah, he just looks goofy and it just looks silly. It's not scary. That's the thing. I'm sure, I thought that you're supposed to actually have at least some moments of the fright factor when you watch a film like this. Otherwise, what's the point?
Pretty consistent from the reviews I'm reading that this is not a scary film, but mixed reviews. Some people love this film, like this guy. He's Mr. Chris Comtech. The story was great. Acting was better than I would have ever expected. I'm not big on evil religious movies at all, but the fact Russell Crowe is in this movie is why I watched it. His witty humor and acting style couldn't have been done better by anyone else. I'm hoping for a sequel with all the same characters. Hell, they could even make a TV series from this movie. So this is a very positive review.
The film is like a prolonged first episode for a TV show. It's literally on that level. It's not a very good one. Not a very good TV show. That's the production standards of it. And in terms of the special effects as well, they're not particularly good. I think using all CGI on anyone possessed and the kind of jump cuts and stuff in this, it's not very impressive. But there's this one point where Russell Crowe's sort of becoming possessed and his face sort of stretches out, and that literally looks like something that could be from Scooby-Doo. I'll find an image of that. I'll show you it and you can make up your own mind. I mean, it's like they basically send the demon back to Black Lodge, and there's this whole circling hellhole in the grounds of inside this big house, and it's all swirling, and then the demon's being pulled down into it and going, as you can expect it all, sort of like, yeah, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, but the thing that made me want to watch it more is because Mark Kermode said it's so silly and just so stupid and crazy. But it wasn't crazy enough for me. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I mean, what did Kermode say about it?
Well, he mentioned about, I think sometimes, he's trying to make his review itself entertaining to people. Which almost gives the wrong impression that the film therefore is worth seeing. But he said, at the end of The Exorcist 3, how a big film, for Jeffrey Dahmer, how partly the studio and William Peter Blatty, they agreed that the ending could be changed somewhat to make it into basically, because there's no exorcism essentially in the original film version of Exorcist 3. So they decided, we bring in this priest who comes in to try and exorcise the Gemini killer and all that. And then there's this over-the-top ending with kind of snakes rising up in the cell. And have you seen the end of The Exorcist 3?
I don't remember it very well, so...
Well, it's very much just what you would expect from if someone was, but it's quite well done for what it is. So Kermode was saying that ending was obviously sort of a compromise and a bit of a demand from the studio to make it more of a audience pleaser. Like how can you have an Exorcist film without any exorcism in it, that kind of thing. But originally, the film was just to be titled Legion, So, and he said that ending was so ridiculous. Like, for instance, with snakes coming up from the ground and out of the pit of hell, and he was saying that this goes even further in silliness. But I didn't find that personally. It was all just recycled jump scares and sort of bad special effects, totally unconvincing. Sort of effects and things like this.
But it sounds like Kermode thought it was at least mediocre to above average, right?
No, I think the point I'm saying about Russell about Kermode's sort of viewpoint on films and things is he has to have like say 5 to 7 minutes or so that he talks about a film with Simon Mayo, and they do it on their show, which is on radio, but then they also it's on YouTube with them on camera and everything. So I just feel like because of his work as a critic, after all, he's getting paid to do this job. He has to sort of put some effort in to really talk about the film, and so in that sense, it could give you the impression that the film's better than it really is. I often find that, with him and other critics, like any mainstream kinds of critics, really. On Kermode is, he's pretty mainstream, really. So, he's trying to make his actual review entertaining, rather than just kind of like he doesn't sort of just come on and say, this film was absolute bollocks or something. I'll give it 1 out of 5. And then they go, well, you've got 6 more minutes to talk now. What are you going to say? And so, but I will find that review and then we can have a look at it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what he has to say.
No, but I will say that thank you to newcomer in the chat as well, Cindy Palacios, not Cindy from the B-52s. Palacios, yeah. They are already working on a sequel. That is absolutely true. But
I'm not surprised.
I wouldn't have even been surprised that they probably said we're going to do this before this film was even released. So,
all right, I'm back. You did exercise me. Was it like that kind of thing?
That's literally the pre-title scene.
I've taken over this here boy. What of it?
Yeah, I've come over all the way from Manchester, England, and I'm possessing this little boy in Italy. Yeah. Anyway, Kermode and Mayo. I don't know. I think that films like this, you guaranteed a certain audience, it would seem, for the box office kind of. I mean, this film has not exactly gone to number 1 in the box office and sort of sold out everywhere. People are going crazy about it, but but it clearly has done well enough because, I don't think it would have cost that much apart from paying for Russell Crowe and then some fairly decent photography, which quickly becomes all within the house and nothing special. So
it gets a B minus cinema score for what that's worth.
What cinema? Where's that?
It's a website that I don't know what their criteria is exactly. So it's basically it's allegedly they poll movie goers as they walk out. So I'm trying to see if they talk about how they do it. Here it is. Cinema Score polls moviegoers directly at theaters across North America, providing audience members with a ballot with 6 questions, including an A to F grade. All right. Okay.
Well, I think so for some people who go and see it in a cinema, then it could have a certain sort of appeal to it, really.
I mean, it looks like a good, popcorn movie, if you will.
Yeah, it is, but I do think that there's an aspect of there's almost a deliberate attempt to not make it particularly frightening or anything like that, or shocking.
So the budget was. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's partly due to just the nature of the film and their sort of ability in terms of making it, like not putting that much effort into it, really.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I also think that they are happier with the film being accessible to the widest possible audience for such a film.
Right.
I would think that this film would have no real major issue being shown to a 12-year-old. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's. I mean, I think it's a 15 certificate, but
So the budget is 18 million, and it's gross so far 66 million, which it means it made money. Because I think you have to 2.5x to make money. You have to
yeah, and we don't know how much it's going to make in terms of streaming and
correct.
people actually buying it online so that they can keep it in virtual form, which is obviously, you know, people will be greatly regretting.
Stop it. So yeah, I can't remember what they say. They say that
No,
the
I'm
cost
serious
of the
though, because
movie. Yeah.
the promotion and the posters that have been made and the ads that were made for the film give the impression that this is like a solid movie almost, even though yes, it might look a bit stupid and comical, especially in Russell Crowe's whole accent and things like this, but they might have expected it would be half decent, but unfortunately it's not. It's like 1 out of 5.
Oh, that's okay. So one bag of popcorn.
That's my point on it.
And maybe a crucifix.
Even less.
Less. Okay, so half a bag of popcorn and a crucifix is what you're giving it as a rating, I presume. Well,
I just don't understand, like, who makes these films. Like, I don't know who the director is. I don't know who is working on the production, but it all seems just like completely half-hearted and not.
So it
well
sounds
done,
like true horror fans like yourself and fans of the Exorcist series, especially, will not enjoy this movie. But I'm telling you, that's inconsistent with what the audiences are finding. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
says
you're just finding. Pick on the rotten.
I will. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Don't.
I read you some bad reviews. I try to. Okay, so what do you think on Rotten Tomatoes? What do you think the critic and the audience scores are? Go ahead, take a guess. Critic score first, please.
55%.
Very close, 50%. Audience score.
65.
82% amongst 500 plus verified ratings.
Right. Well, I mean, it's entirely possible, surely on a global scale, that there are 500 people who are basically just psychotic. No, but I'm on. No, I actually went to the cinema one time with someone who was, you know, had some. I'm not sure if it was schizophrenia or whatever. We saw Exorcist at the beginning, and I'm not making fun of anyone. And he suddenly declared that was the best film he's ever seen. So
what this anecdote about you seeing a movie with a schizophrenic?
Yeah,
I mean, how is that relevant to people? 82% of the audience score.
well, because we're talking 500 people have submitted.
500 minimum 500 people. It says that's the Rotten Tomatoes standard.
In the scheme of things, that's a very small amount of people who basically could be 500 people who are off their tits on, you know, drinking Carlin Black Label like Josh, you know, eating lots of Quavers crisps or something. And they're like, come on, you know, oh yeah, it was really good, that Pop's Exorcist.
Yeah. Well, now I'm really excited to see it with these. Here's a negative review for you. I watched this movie because I figured Russell Crowe was going to demand some sort of standards of quality on script, CGI acting. It was bad, and I think this is the end of Russell Crowe's career by choice. I got my money back. Sorry, Big no.
I don't really think that Russell Crowe demands massive standards, bearing in mind he made Unhinged.
If you've seen, I was about to say, if
it's-
you've seen Unhinged, I don't think he cares. He's just trying to make a few bucks while he can.
But Unhinged is like, at least kind of has a cathartic enjoyment level to it, even though it leaves somewhat of a nasty taste in the mouth. But it certainly delivers as a B movie. But this just doesn't. It's like a kid's version of a possession movie. But
what do you think of this review? This movie is so goddamn boring. What's that?
true,
That's
yeah,
the
that's
review.
true. Yeah, I hate to call anything boring because it's like I always think, well, you're not looking hard enough. There's got to be something about it that you enjoy in some way. But when a film basically has some nice shots at the start, showing obviously Italy and this house they go to and all that, but then once they're inside there, it's mostly obviously a set, and then they go into like parts that are like dungeon sets that are just really predictable type of stuff. You know, like oh, it's scary because it's in an old dungeon type part of the building.
Yeah, look at this review. This was good and powerful. Jesus Christ forever, heart. So that's a very good for the religious people.
The thing is, the film, like that person was saying, it doesn't offer any of, like, some people would say that, well, many did, in fact, like the popularity of The Exorcist at the time made people actually become interested in religion and turn to it to some degree. You know, some viewers, obviously. And that was, by the church, they saw that as a positive thing. But because it was basically, it delivered everything seriously, but this would not have that same kind of effect.
Okay.
And because it's just, you've got to see it, really. It's just,
I will watch it. You haven't deterred me in the slightest.
It's literally like, it's almost literally like they made it as a joke, really, especially with the Russell Crowe's accent and everything. And
his accent does sound ridiculous in the trailers. There's no.
Yeah, but then they have the points where they're having interviews where they're talking to him, and he's like responding in Italian, and then they say, "Oh no, Father Dumb, no more." Now in English, and it's like, it's just it's very obvious that it's just doing that because of the audience. But therefore, why start the film with a heap of Italian, which obviously I didn't understand, so maybe I've missed some really important facets. But at the same time, it just seems okay. We'll like shove in a load of Russell Crowe speaking Italian to keep him busy and make him think he's making a proper film, but then there was no need for it at all. It doesn't. It doesn't make the film give the film a seriousness just because Russell Crowe learned some Italian. So.
Well, I know also that you personally don't like those swarthy Italians.
Me?
Yeah.
That's not true. I've never said that. Well, I mean, if anything, like, I don't think Russell Crowe looks swarthy.
No, not in the slightest. He's Australian.
He just looks basically tanned and a bit sweaty.
Yeah, those sweaty Italians. I mean, that's what they did. Let's get an Australian actor to play an Italian Catholic priest. And, he is Australian. He looks awfully Caucasian, he doesn't have any of that olive skin. Okay, well, let's put some of that tanny shit on him. Is that what you're telling me? That's all they did, is try to make him look tanned?
No, that's how he looks anyway.
Okay.
But if you actually find a picture of the real Father Lamont, he's completely different. And I think he's the one featured in that documentary thing that William Friedkin did that showed a real possession as such. I was trying to find this commode.
Yeah, I thought you gave up. Well, what's the problem? Philip Lamont does not sound very Italian at all. So maybe the actual guy is not Italian.
Well, Yeah, it's just that the review is not what I thought. It was. It was just part. It was just him talking about the top 10. He doesn't devote a full review to it.
All right.
I think.
Well, the film made money, so I think people enjoyed it. It 3x'd, you know what I mean? So
I think I found it now.
they're going to make a sequel. They've already announced a sequel. I mean, they're going to make another one. So obviously, well, they're not going to do it for a while with the writer's strike, but you know.
Well, it's not something that I think there's any rush to make it. But on the other hand, they probably want to milk this for any
I think there is a
possibility of success.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there probably is actually. In terms of the badness level of this.
The badness level.
Well, they need to, really just get it out there and milk it before people realize how bad it is. I think that's the thing.
I think you're overly critical. I think you're missing as I call them, the normie population, movie-going population. They probably thought, hey, I'm out with my best girl, Cindy. Let's go see this movie. And they thought they had a good time.
I don't think there's many people going out saying, I'm out with my best girl, Cindy. Going to see Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, this is very brief here, so let's just.
They have tightened that gap up,
Yeah, that's very nice. Do you have a nice Easter?
I did, thank you. How about you?
I'm finding this music a little loud now. Can we lose the? Can we dip the music just a little bit? There we go. I wouldn't want anything to get in the way of the top comedy. Because I've got an Easter joke for you.
An Easter joke, okay.
It's a little bit late.
Okay.
But it's an Easter joke.
Right.
Okay.
What
did the Amber Vicar say to his Amber congregation in his Amber church at Easter?
Oh,
I don't know. What did the Amber Vicar say?
Sorry, this is
What is an Amber Vicar?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, well, I told you about which one it was. I can't find it. Sorry. Well, it could be on this one, actually. This is longer, so it makes more sense.
Thank you. Top research. Box office top 10. Disturbingly, once again, starting at number 10. The Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan, new entry.
Let me start by being clear about one thing. I've been off for 2 weeks, and I have not seen any new releases in the last 2 weeks. Hang on.
This is not right.
With the exception of The Pope's Exorcist.
Which is next.
So I haven't seen it, but I know that Robbie reviewed Three Musketeers last week.
Fine. Number 9, 7 in America, The Pope's Exorcist, which looked, from its trail, ludicrous nonsense.
Yeah, here's the thing. The whole idea of Russell Crowe playing Father Amort is completely daft anyway. As I said before, William Friedkin made a documentary about Father Amort called The Devil and Father Amort, in which he asked me if I would just do a couple of polishes on his commentary. I think he asked me kind of just out of politeness, to be honest, and I did very, very little. He sent me the thing. I shifted a few things around, and then he was kind enough to give me a credit. And the whole thing about The Devil and Father Amort was after William Friedkin had made The Exorcist, which has levitation, head spinning, projectile vomit, all that stuff happening. He had filmed an exorcism performed by Father Amort in which none of the above happened. And the whole point about it was he had started out writing this as an article for a magazine, because he thought, as the person who had filmed perhaps the most famous exorcism in the history of cinema, shouldn't he actually go and see what one actually looks like? And the exorcism that you see in The Devil and Father Amort there's very little. It's disturbing. It's very distressing. It's somebody who is in a state of, clear anxiety and upset, and, how one interprets it. I don't believe in demonic possession, but there we are. But it's the whole thrust of the documentary was, I made The Exorcist, but this is what actual possession, exorcism looks like. And Billy became very, very fascinated by Father Amort and believed that he was, a very, very serious character, quite funny, quite wry. And it is true that in the Pope's Exorcist, the character played by Russell Crowe is quite funny, quite right. But the film is it's Showgirls with demons. It is that level of
Oh, wow.
bonkers.
Yes.
The final act of Exorcist 3, which is the stuff that they put in after Blatty had originally made the film, and they said, well, this is no good. It hasn't got an exorcism. We have to have explosive special effects. So the final act of Exorcist 3, in which there's lightning in the cell and this huge, all crucifix comes up through the floor, and it's got Father Karras on it with the weird head, and George C. Scott is stuck to the wall. That's what the Pope's Exorcist is like. I mean, I would be lying if I told you I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
It is absolutely mad. And I think that at least Russell Crowe probably understood his Italian accent, incidentally. He was talking about the Robin Hood accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to be challenging him on his accent ever.
It's one of the very few films that does come into that so bad it's actually quite fun category.
New entry at number 8, Kissy Cowboy, Kissy Kijan.
Again, now that wasn't reviewed last week because it wasn't press screen, but if anybody has seen it, please do send us an email.
Number 7, Renfield.
Again, was off for the last 2 weeks, but there's an interview with Nicholas Hoult, I think 2 weeks ago about the film.
Who needs to take time off of going to see movies? What the hell kind of reviewer is this? Anyway, okay.
Well,
so he mocked it, but he said it was fun. He can't say he won't say he didn't enjoy it. Now, he didn't enjoy it as a serious film. He enjoyed it almost like not quite to the level of Scary Movie, but that seemed to be what he was implying, didn't it? Okay.
Well, I mean, he said that he found it enjoyable, so I think he was just being kind to it, really. Honestly.
All right. Well, I'll watch it and give my review next week. The true review from me.
Well, that's up to you.
Oh, I'm going to watch it. I was pumped for this movie. I was going to watch it last night. I literally fell asleep early. So, unintended. I just fell asleep. I don't know why. But, and then I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning because I fell asleep so early. And, I could have watched it at 5:30 in the morning, I suppose, but it just didn't seem right to watch a film about exorcism and possession on a Sunday morning. Seemed a bit odd.
No, I think. Yeah, I mean, it surprised me that Kermode said that he didn't believe in possession.
Why does that surprise you?
Well, he said that The Exorcist is his favorite film, and that he's, he is a churchgoer, for instance. So,
is he?
I would have thought that he should surely a prerequisite for going to church is to believe in possession, really,
or at least a possibility. Yeah. I would agree with that.
So I don't really.
What a bastard!
He makes me angry, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That level of inconsistency is upsetting.
Yeah, correct.
So, Phantom Cooper, Mandela Man loved the movie. That movie made $1 billion. The coveted $1 billion gross. And that is the standard for a successful film. So, I mean, I haven't seen the film, but it made $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not from lots and lots of grown adults going to see it, though.
Mm-hmm. It's a family film, yeah.
Whilst on magic mushrooms.
Or, yes, 3 middle-aged men go to the theater on mushrooms to enjoy it. Whoa, bruh.
Taking in like half a glass of apple juice.
I don't know why that apple juice anecdote part of it just added to it. What is that new Guy Ritchie film? I know you're a big Guy Ritchie fan.
I don't know which one he means, or sorry, Cindy means.
Well, he's got multiple movies out.
Well, there's two different ones, yeah. So
Is that right?
there's one that's already streaming, and basically, I'm not massively interested in them, obviously,
Oh boy,
but
that's a shame.
wait, Guy Ritchie. Yeah, there's one called Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. I don't know how to say it properly, and that's got that's directed by Guy Ritchie, and it's got
Was that a World War II film?
no, it's got Jason Statham in it.
Doesn't
Hugh
he have to?
Grant.
Doesn't he have to put Jason Statham in all his movies?
Oh yeah, Aubrey Plaza's in it as well.
Oh wow, good cast.
So maybe she's might make it worth watching. But it looks like a semi comedy, but sort of action as well.
And that's in theaters, or is that streaming somewhere?
No, just Netflix. No, Amazon. Sorry, Amazon.
I'm gonna look that up. That sounds like that is actually a good cast, worth watching. And I make a joke, but I don't mind Guy Ritchie's movies. Well, at least the two I've seen. I can't remember. He made another one that I thought was quite bad, actually. But the two main ones, Lock, Stock, and whatever, Two Smoking Barrels, and whatever what was the Brad Pitt one called? I can't remember. Snatch. Although Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels was a superior of the two films, but you know, and then he married Madonna, so that's problematic in and of itself. So what? Sorry, I'm sorry. What's the movie on Amazon called again? If you could tell me the title.
The main title is Operation Fortune.
Operation Fortune. Oh yeah, there it is. 2023. It's not. It's available to rent for us, but for $20, no thanks. All right. Special Agent Orson Fortune and his team of operatives recruit one of Hollywood's biggest movie stars to help them on an undercover mission when the sale of a deadly new weapon technology threatens to disrupt the world order. That sounds tremendous.
Well, the Covenant one should be okay, I imagine.
Now, what's the plot line of that? Do you know?
No, it's not showing up. I don't know anything about it. But it looks like more of a war-based film. So,
let's see. The Covenant. I feel like there was already a movie called The Covenant.
Well, Alien Covenant, yeah.
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. No, there was just a movie called The Covenant in 2017. Then there was, Alien Covenant, of course. And then there was also a movie in 2006 called The Covenant. This is called Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. All right. A pledge between a sergeant and an interpreter must be upheld at all costs. U.S. Army Sergeant John Kinsley cannot forget the kindness shown to him by his Afghan interpreter, Ahmed. When Kinley is ambushed and left to die, Ahmed carries his body across harsh terrain in order to save his life. Safely returned to the U.S., Kinley owes Ahmed a great debt. When the Army sergeant learns that Ahmed and his family were never given safe passage to the U.S. as they were promised, he begins a chain of events that leads him to fulfill his pledge, his bond, and his commitment. This is not interesting to me. Sorry. I'd much rather watch the other one. The other Guy Ritchie film. But yes, this does have Jake Gyllenhaal in it, who seems to like playing a soldier in the Desert Storm type arena. All right, there you go.
Well, I know you're a massive fan of King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, directed by Guy Ritchie.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That had a small role for David Beckham in it.
Well, that makes me feel bad for not having seen that. I'm sure that was a great movie. David Beckham was in it. I'm sure he's a wonderful actor.
Well, he literally only has a very, very small role.
That's a shame.
So, hopefully I'll be able to show that for you. But I know you've not been entirely feeling great. So, have you watched anything else in the last week or so? Or?
I finished that Beef show. But, honestly, that's really about it. I haven't been watching that much. And I did enjoy that show. And there is one particularly surreal episode, or has some surreal elements in it. I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about. Where she sees the witch and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the ending as well in the last episode.
Correct. Yeah. Again, and I've said this before on other things. When somebody tries to do something original, I give them credit. So this is a movie about two people who are assholes, basically, and they're jerks, and you don't realize how big of jerks they are until you watch the whole series. And their paths cross, and they are jerks to each other to different degrees. And then the movie the show explores how big of jerks they are. And then they had to come up with some kind of a balls to the wall ending, which I think that's just how they chose to end the show. But I got to tell you, I found it enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show overall for what it was. It's slightly sort of it's not exactly heartwarming, is it?
It's not intended to be in any way, shape, or form.
But,
no. These are two very ugly people. They're ugly on the inside, I mean. And the things they do to each other. And then the cool part is you kind of see their history of ugly things they've done. Like what that guy did to his brother, for example. I mean, that's just terrible,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It's almost unbelievable. But I imagine there are people like that. And I don't know if that's narcissism or some sort of a sociopathic disorder or something. But the show opens with the guy making plans to commit suicide. And then his anger with this lady, this road rage incident, prevents him from committing suicide. And then the fun ensues. And well, it's not fun. I mean, it's funny. Look, so it's got some very serious elements, but they did present it in a lighthearted fashion, didn't they? And there's even some comedic stuff to it. And I recommend it, truthfully. I really do.
Well, he's kind of trying to gas himself with some fires that are used for camping.
Correct. Multiple they call hibachi grills out here.
But I can't see how having them on full blast indoors is going to result in you gassing yourself either. So I don't.
Well, each one has its own little gas tank. So I guess he figured if he turned them all on but didn't light them up and then fill. I don't know. I don't know.
No, but didn't he have them actually on? I thought there were flames coming.
Oh, you're right. There wasn't there?
Yeah, there was an element of him which was just, idiotic.
Yes, very much so.
And the show's pretty exciting from the start with the whole car chase business and everything. So,
yes, Mystic Man Mac, welcome, and we're talking about the A24 show Beef on Netflix in the United States.
Yes.
Also on Netflix in Europe, not just the United States.
Well, I think it has a few things in it that are, you could kind of connect to A24, couldn't you, for their type of output?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A few sort of slightly out there or
Mm-hmm.
sort of more fantastical elements here and there, but not a lot by any means, just a bit.
Right. Right. And tremendous soundtrack. At the end of every episode, the music that they chose, really the tremendous soundtrack, very enjoyable, of late 90s, early 2000s music. So anyway, I recommend it, everybody. I like this Mystic Mac style. That's a good picture.
Hello, Mystic Mac, as well. How are you doing? Thank you for coming on board and having a look at what's going off here. I appreciate it. I hope you stay tuned. Recently, I seem to have been doing quite a bit of rewatching of things.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing the video with Marlena, on Thursday, as we've been doing for a while and stuff, I was covering that kind of stuff as well. So,
What have you been watching or rewatching?
Well, I did even talk in the chat. Well, in the chat, some people were like, Phantom Cooper was not impressed by the film, but I mentioned rewatching The Lovely Bones, the film by Peter Jackson, where it's about a girl,
child abduction, right?
Goes missing and she's murdered. Yeah, you don't see anything on screen because it tends towards more of a fantastical kind of, beautiful imagery and everything, which some people might find a bit cheesy or whatever, the CGI of that film. But I just found it strange how there was one scene where she's basically up in that kind of fantasy land aspect, and there's a girl there sitting beneath a tree, and she says, the girl sitting at the tree says, sometimes I just like to sit and listen to the sounds. And obviously I connected that listen to the sounds to Twin Peaks: The Return. But what was even more made it notable was that then in that scene, it's the song To the Siren playing, which Lynch has said is one of his favorite songs, and he used in Lost Highway. He originally wanted to use it in Blue Velvet. So I thought that was notable.
That is very notable.
Well, it just makes me think, like, does Lynch sit there and he goes, listen to the sounds. Okay, I'll use that somewhere, like, possibly because, especially when you look at that film he made, the one which people have made fun of and everything, that was made for a festival. What did Jack do? There's a lot of stuff in that which is just one-liners which don't make any sense whatsoever. It's just as much as listen to the sounds. Because, I don't really think that there's any absolute concrete sort of understanding to be made from that piece of dialogue that Cooper says. Or no, the fireman says, But anyway, I still find that film, for me, I quite like it, even though it's certainly not perfect. But I think what I find interesting about it partly is how it's a mainstream film dealing with quite disturbing topics, just as Twin Peaks did when it was originally on TV.
Yeah.
And so that jump from what Twin Peaks was into going into the feature film route, you can entirely see why an audience might not be on board for that, especially with the revealing of the kill already have happened and everything. Charlotte, who's in our group and everything, Ashton. I mean, she mentions how if Fire Walk with Me had been kind of released at the end of the first season, how it would have been successful then. I can hear you moving your mic about a lot and stuff. I don't know if I hope you're not doing anything untoward there, but
Just a moment here. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I mean, I was just talking about obviously the Lovely Bones and how it's many people might dismiss it as being a cheese fest or the CGI as being way over the top, not subtle and all that kind of thing.
What kind of CGI was in that film?
Have you watched it? You must remember
I don't think I have.
Well, it's like it's basically all of the in between world between Earth and heaven as such. It's supposed to be a visualization of this girl's afterlife, I suppose.
Oh, maybe I have seen that now that you mentioned that, but it's a long time ago and I don't remember it very well, so I must not have paid much attention to it at the time.
Well, you probably know of the film What Dreams May Come, the Robin Williams one. That was a very lavish CGI type film and everything, but in a similar manner to this. And yeah, I do think in The Lovely Bones, the CGI and everything is really it's not the best, but but in some, in it kind of the more years go by, of course, the more. So.
Yeah. Anyway, you're going to be rewatching a lot of stuff because if the writer strike drags out, there won't be any new content coming anyway for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I made another connection which I didn't really think about so much in terms of some of this kind of I suppose you'd call it mystical dialogue in The Return. It's in our house now.
What?
Well, remember that's being said, don't you, at the start?
Of course, but that's also in Lovely Bones?
No, of course. I just made the connection, and I don't know why I didn't make an immediate connection before. Maybe I did, but I just dismissed it or something. With Lost Highway, of course, when he says, "I'm in your house right now," that kind of thing.
Oh, so, yeah. Me neither. I didn't connect those two actually at all, but yeah, interesting. That Lovely Bones thing is if that music and that listen to the sounds thing, I usually mock those people who put up pictures from whatever old pieces of art and then scenes from different David Lynch projects. But that's interesting if they do indeed. If that seems like he watched the movie and it stuck with him.
I can't see why David Lynch wouldn't have found that film at least entertaining. I mean, I found it an incredibly entertaining, well-made film, albeit it's trying to be appealing to a young audience as well as an adult, which is too much of a compromise, And it's so I don't think I would have particularly wanted them to go down the route of just showing any violent or sexual scenes, particularly, much more than they did, because, well, they didn't really, but they implied sort of. But I think there could have been a little bit more of a sinister side to it, and a little bit less of the sort of, I'm in dreamland now. I'm in this or I'm in this fantasy heaven type world, so colourful, and everything so crazy, gorgeous, beautiful CGI and all that. it's just a bit like Peter Jackson went crazy because he had all of the, a budget at his disposal after the immense success of the Lord of the Rings films and things like that. But
I was going to ask you, is that movie before or after Lord of the Rings? Interesting. Yeah, he would have been given carte blanche at that point.
Yeah, and I mean the main actress Saoirse Ronan, who's gone on to become quite famous overall. Well, not maybe in Hollywood, but I mean Stanley Tucci as well. He's good in it. He plays the killer. So
yeah, now I do remember this.
It does have Mark Wahlberg playing a dad. He's not quite that convincing. Rachel Weisz as the mother, and then it also has Susan Sarandon come in, and it's like has these sort of comedy scenes almost in the midst of it, of her drunken escapades, supposed to be looking after the house, but which some people said seemed a bit out of place, but I don't know.
Okay,
I think it's just an interesting film in its own way for me, because I think as much as I know we all obviously, and we come back to it, we love like Fire Walk With Me as a film. It's comprehensible. It is sort of understandable how it was received completely differently by a theatrical audience to how Twin Peaks was received.
100%.
Because what was sort of pushing it on TV, once it gets on, on the cinema and it's a proper film and everything, it becomes incredibly just, okay, it's just a film. We have like different standards here, and what shocks us on TV is not the same in the cinema. It's, but I would argue that Twin Peaks, in terms of its scenes in season 2, were on the whole scarier than most of Fire Walk With Me, I would say, actually. So
interesting.
I think the reveal of Leyland killing Maddie, that is scarier than anything in Fire Walk With Me. Absolutely, in terms of its impact, because especially if you go back and watch it, just as a work in itself, as a work as filmmaking. I mean,
yeah,
it's shocking, quite for a TV show. I mean, even now, it's sort of there's of course violent TV shows, and but they don't have it. They don't leave that visceral impact that episode did, for instance.
And that's certainly a David Lynch. I've never checked. That's a David Lynch directed episode, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
I've never checked. I just presumed it was. Yeah, right. There's the juxtaposition when they're with Cooper in the roadhouse and the giant on the stage. These are amazing scenes.
Yeah, but then the actual scenes within the house, and it's like
violent.
Yeah, and we know after the fact, like, okay, this was filmed on set. It's this is how it was made, etc. But none of that takes away from its impact. So
I posted in one of these Facebook Twin Peaks groups one time that somebody posted about that scene, and I wrote, "This is the most violent scene ever shown on regular television." And holy crap, people got so mad at me. They said, "Well, no, it's not. Have you not seen Hannibal? What the hell? Blah blah blah." This kind of thing. And people just got furious at me for saying that's the most
for the time, especially. But I think.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen this Hannibal show, but just because he's eating pieces of a human, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to it. The way he beats the shit out of her, it's disturbingly violent. I can't remember anything else on network TV being like that. But again, I haven't watched this Hannibal show, so I can't speak to it.
No, it's to do with the impact and the expectation of things, you see, because when you look at Twin Peaks, it basically covers the entire multitude of different emotions and human situations, especially within a sort of exaggerated TV show which had elements of the soap opera in it and things. It has these very light-hearted aspects with Andy and people like that, and later on, you're one of your favorite characters, Dick Tremaine. I mean, of course, with Cooper, Cooper, like doing with another David Lynch directed early episode, doing the stone throwing. This is like a good bit of fun, all that kind of thing. So, so you don't expect the same show to have the level of darkness that episode had in it. It was so, polar.
Yeah,
and that's what I liked about it, really.
Yeah. Dan Peake, it's funny, if you're talking about the Robert De Niro Cape Fear, I was actually wanting to rewatch that movie. And I'd love to hear what you thought about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Just released this weekend.
Yeah, I've seen the adverts for it, and I thought, like, they're trying to really give people, like, a lot of the good feeling that they had with the first film.
Mm-hmm.
With the same music being used and stuff like this, but because some people were not so favorable towards the second one, I think. But
right,
it's a question of pacing and etc. How the film plays, really, and also just repeating the same old jokes. The whole "I am Groot" saying that for like 50 times throughout the film. That's a bit.
And Vin Diesel making money off of that, unbelievable.
You're really angry about that, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm not angry. Go make your money. You know what I mean? I'm angry that the studio heads. I mean, I get the first movie. Nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, right? So to be able to put Vin Diesel's name on the cast, even though he did nothing, I mean, that has got to be the easiest Hollywood paycheck I can think of. I mean, that is really easy. And maybe they signed him to a 3-picture deal at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, neither me or yourself are the core audience for Vin Diesel. Like, I've seen, there are groups of largely women, and I imagine gay men, who are members of Vin Diesel fan groups. And I don't even know if you saw on his actual Facebook, he would post these things where it was like inspirational quotes from him, and like these pictures were always just really, people were thinking, is this supposed to be like a joke or what? Because it was always like Vin Diesel, and then in the background there's like an elephant or something. So I'm sure he realized that it was funny, but at the same time he pretends it's not, because I mean, his whole career is about that, isn't it? It's about being in these films that most people would think this is just bollocks, basically.
Okay,
yeah. I mean, did you go and? I mean, have you seen Fast and Furious 7? I don't know.
I haven't seen anything after the second one. I haven't seen any Fast and Furious. I saw the second one, the Tokyo Drift one. I haven't seen any since. And I understand there's an appeal to these films. It's just not for me. I don't criticize people who like action films. I mean, they're action films is what they are. So it hasn't been
kind
released,
but they're not really. They're mainly based around cars going fast, and then it gets to the point where the cars themselves are just, able to do crazy shit. Basically, that's it.
Mm-hmm. So, according to an article, nobody knows how much Vin Diesel was paid for these 3 movies, but it's estimated between 13 and 15 million for all 3. That's got to be the easiest $13 to $15 million ever earned. I mean, good God Almighty! I mean, if you ever saw Black Adam, the Black Adam film, Henry Cavill is in the movie for, I don't know, a minute and a half scene, maybe, something like that. He put the suit on and did a couple of lines of dialogue, and he was paid $250,000 only. So Vin Diesel and his agent have done something tremendous. And I don't know how he's failed up his entire career.
I think to say in terms of ads that are running now, though, for, blockbusters, the one ad which I thought actually makes it look genuinely worth seeing is the new one, the new ad for The Flash. So
the Flash ads have been very positive. The trailers have looked quite good.
Well, there's one that comes on YouTube before a video, and it's literally probably a 15-second one or something, and that I thought was very effective. So they're certainly advertising it to kind of get as many people to want to see this film without focusing so much on the Flash as well, probably. But it seems fairly equal. I mean, yeah, you do see quite a bit of Michael Keaton. You see Ben Affleck's in it as well. You see
he's in it briefly, yeah. So I believe that movie was originally
Supergirl, isn't it, as well? Isn't it?
Yeah, Superwoman or Girl, whatever you want to call her. I believe that movie. I think they shot a lot of stuff with Michael Keaton. They didn't intend to use as much stuff, but they changed course with all the Ezra Miller stuff that came out. So I think Michael Keaton's in it a lot more. He's certainly heavily featured in all of these trailers, isn't he? And,
yeah, he looks really good.
He really does. Yeah.
But it's how the film's done. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand really why they have to do this whole multiverse business. Is that the way they're going to have to? Like, they've got two different Batmans in it, so.
Mm-hmm. So this happened in the comic books, and I don't know, like the two big comic book publishers are obviously DC and Marvel. They both did it several years ago in the comic books, I guess, so they could just have more stories to tell and different, and not worry about canon and all that kind of thing. And they've adopted it into the movies in both Marvel and DC. I don't know. It's interesting, but anyway, this is the last movie with Ezra Miller, and he won't be back after this. No matter what they're saying, they haven't said that, but there's no way they're putting him back. James Gunn has taken over DC EU, and there's two more movies from the prior regime of DC films, and it's this one and the Aquaman 2 that's coming out later this year. And then that's the end of it. Then he's going to reboot the whole thing. So, there are rumors that George Clooney will be back in another movie. You know what I mean? So, we'll see.
There's another Batman.
Yeah, well, there's a story in the comics where the Flash in the comics, he can run so fast that he can go into other dimensions. That's the whole concept. Sounds terrible saying that out loud, but that is what they do. He goes into another dimension where, where how the whole story
fun,
yeah, well, the whole story is
just the nature of films, isn't it? Really? So
yeah, well, how the whole origin of Batman is that as a child he sees his parents murdered in an alley, right? Well, in this other dimension, the father survives, and the son and the wife are killed. So Thomas Wayne, he's the one who becomes Batman in this other dimension. And there's rumors. Well, that's what people thought that Michael Keaton was going to play, but that's clearly not the case. But there's rumors that Clooney will come back and play that version of Thomas Wayne as Batman. Yes, Phantom Cooper, I understand that it would give you a headache. All right, well, that's an interesting review. I know a few people who've seen it, and they said they loved the film. But yeah, the Marvel stuff has been weak lately.
Just want to give a big shout out to Gary out there and Ashton.
Hello.
Big up the London security firm, Massive, and also hope Ashton's hard at work writing another script.
Yeah.
For, basically, we've got rewrites going on at the moment for Coffee and Donuts. So that'll be exploding onto your screens in 2024.
Right. I do not stand in solidarity with the writer's strike.
Well, all right. But, Anyway, I will say, in terms of rewatching, another thing I was talking about with Marlena was the TV show The AOA. Do you remember when we were all watching that?
Yeah, of course.
Back in the previous century and everything. But, yeah. It was 2 seasons, and rewatching it now, I think I'm far more favorable towards the second season.
You've rewatched the two, both seasons.
I've watched probably 2/3 of the first one, and then the second one as well. But
I preferred the second season myself, as you know, if you remember. I don't know if you remember. And you all shouted me down when I said that.
No, I do think it's in some ways superior at just as a work, like a long film or whatever you want to call it, in terms of the just visuals of it, and it's made more cinematically as well. It's like wider image and everything. But yeah, the whole San Francisco setting as well works well. But I mean, there are aspects of the OA where you just think, well, this is just like, how much ridiculousness can there be in one show, But
well, you're
that's
talking about that talking octopus. Is that what you mean?
That's the nature of it, Well, yeah, all right, yeah. I mean, in the second season, there's talking octopus called old. I can't remember what it's called anyway. Something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And anyway, but at the end, like Hap, the guy who kidnapped them all in the first season, this is in a different dimension, isn't it? And he's growing actual whole humans out of seeds that he pulls out of their ears. Remember that part?
I don't. Now that you mention it.
So you can, like, if Netflix saw that, you can think, like, they may have been watching that and thinking, yeah, I think we'll pass on the third season for this. It's like, it's gone as far as it can almost. Like, apparently there were five seasons written, but
really,
yeah, I don't know how much, whether there is outlined or not. But that, again, it's like the 5 people doing the interpretive dance that I know you were a big fan of, and
yeah, I thought that was great. Tremendous, that scene where they stop a school shooter by engaging in interpretive dance. I thought that was terrific.
Well, they didn't really stop him; they just distract him, and then he shoots. He shoots the OA in the stomach.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like that would only further exasperate the situation and make the school shooter even more angry, and just to start shooting more people when he sees people get in front of him and start engaging in interpretive dance. That's how I would feel personally. It angers me.
It's quite good how they do use the robots in the second season. There's the mini robots that this one woman's got in her apartment, and then at the end there's these massive ones out in this kind of garden. And that's effective because it's almost a bit like they realized just having these, peeps doing this kind of dance all the time could get a bit kind of laughable,
wanky.
So.
And how do you feel about that talking octopus thing? I enjoyed it personally.
Oh yeah, it's called. She calls it Old Night, I think. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really good. It's like, if the show's going to be, fantastical, then just go that way, full blown, and that's what that was, and it was effective. Just the idea that it was communicating through her, and and could hear everything inside her as well, the other way around, sort of thing. It's just, yeah, and I like the stuff with the house as well in it. It was good, but I don't know. Sometimes it was better on the first watch, but it's because it doesn't really. There's some things in it that you just have to go with. Like they're just rearranging all of the floor tiles in at the start of the house, and when they go in everything, but you can't really see what they're doing. They're just making it into basically a inside of a tree trunk, and how could they do that quickly? It's just, I mean, that, and I for me, that was angering. Obviously, I got quite angry.
Yeah, sure. That's the type of thing that'll make you smash your TV.
Well, no, I actually wrote a letter to Netflix about it.
You actually wrote a tersely worded letter instead of an email?
Yeah, that was when I was on the canal boat in Manchester. I felt at my most furious then, and I was like, I've got a laptop here with me. I'm going to write it. Christabel has given me the kind of impetus to just say, hey, do you need help writing the OA season 3? Because I think I'm on board, and I think it would be better maybe if you just had like the main character played by Britt Marling. Maybe she was a bit more kind of comical, like, have you thought about that? you know, and it was a bit like Larry David or something, with her going through life having various scrapes, making, you know, improper comments about men's cocks or something. I don't know, just
Good God.
falling over in the street.
Okay.
Well, no.
No, sorry, but you know, I didn't love the show as much as you did.
DOA.
No. I am surprised
I
they didn't bring
enjoyed it a
back.
lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I think, though, in terms of what Netflix were doing and this idea that there were 5 seasons, I find the actual ending of season 2 is really good when it shows these London scenes, and it cuts to basically, you know, they're making the show. And
Right, that was really cool. Yeah.
That bit was really great. And then there was that Steve guy running after the ambulance again, but in London. Like, if they filmed a London sort of, they should do it the DOA London, you know, but make it, then it's really gritty, and they could have war in between security gangs and all this kind of thing. So I'm sure Gary could help, but it needs to go in a different direction. Otherwise, you know, the thing is, they said we're happy to work again with its creators, Britt Marlin and Zach, the director who worked on the OA, but instead they've gone to FX and they're making a new drama there, or have made it actually, called Retreat. So,
where, for Netflix?
No, it's for FX. Sorry,
I was gonna say, yeah. I imagine they had contractual disputes, because I don't know why else. I always, whenever there's something successful that gets canceled like that, I always presume it's a money thing.
Yeah, but in terms of success, I think like the OA, they brought it out the first season back in 2016, and they didn't really advertise it.
No,
that was the actual strategy. No, but that was the strategy. They said let's just Britt Marling, etc. They're kind of like, you know, if they are a bit overly pretentious, like, you know, let people find it. And so I do think that people who found it, you know, like me and others, we're like think we're like too cool for school and like hipsters and everything.
Jesus.
Like, hey, I found the OA, okay? You know, I'm getting that building, the house, tattooed on my back, okay?
Yeah, right.
You know,
right next to the Packard Mill, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And a tattoo of Michael J. Anderson dancing on the bed.
Well, we've seen that before.
That would be a great tattoo.
Okay. Dan Pika says he'd be interested in hearing a lawyer's perspective, although Max Cady, talking about Cape Fear, is a vile scumbag. His lawyer purposely gave him a poor defense. Yeah. I don't know if that happens. I personally considered being engaged in criminal law, but then one summer I sat for a couple of days in the Long Beach criminal courthouse while I was a student, and I saw some of the crimes that were being prosecuted and defended, and it just made me sick, and I left. And I said, I'm never doing criminal law. So I don't know. I can't imagine. In my experience, the public defenders I've met, they actually take it very seriously, and they actually hate the police and they hate the justice system. So they fight for their clients rather aggressively. In fact, one of my neighbors, she's a district attorney, and she tells me stories about different public defenders who Max, Katie would have had. And like this one where she like hires them to do stuff around her house and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if that was completely accurate or it was just done for the film.
Well, I will say that, that film had a major impact on me in terms of how to hide by getting underneath somebody's car and then holding onto some pipes or whatever. And I actually did that one time, but
oh wow, you're very fit.
I do regret it though, because I ended up scraping my ass.
Oh, that is one of the risks.
That's one of the problems. So by the time I got to Manchester, when I was going to see Christabel, etc., I had like a bloodied ass.
It would happen, yeah. I would imagine we tore up quite a bit.
that was one of the reasons why I feared approaching her in case you saw. So.
Well, that'll hurt your self-esteem and your overall level of confidence if you've had your road rashed ass terrible. That's more understandable.
Absolutely. I think we're now missing out because I'm just going to put it on now. It's on BBC. We've got the coronation concert happening.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
Is that playing in your country as well?
I don't know.
I would imagine so, because that's partly why they've got American acts there. You know.
Well, American acts are popular where you are as well. I wonder if it's on YouTube. I mean, I don't even have cable.
What, Lionel Richie?
Lionel Richie? Really? Interesting choice.
He's actually playing now. So yeah, but I think he does work for the Prince's Trust, so that's why they are so keen to invite him.
You know, why wouldn't they stream it on YouTube? I don't get it.
Oh no, because it's the BBC.
They're so worried about licensing and such.
Don't you have like a channel like BBC Worldwide?
No, I mean, I
bet you could find.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking.
Illegal.
Yeah. I'm not certainly not that interested to to find an illegal stream of the coronation live from Windsor Castle.
Yeah, but they've got like the young royals. It's besuited, like really, and they're wearing suits and stuff, like trying to get it on for Lionel Richie. It's just embarrassing.
Okay, now did the guy who married the
Meghan,
did the South Park couple, did they show up?
No, he's gone back to America because he said the concert was going to be shit.
No, seriously, I thought he denounced. He
came yesterday.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Meghan didn't come because she was celebrating the birthday of one of their children. But,
is that right?
Well, it's a good excuse not to come, isn't it?
Well, I figure if you marry into the royal family, one of the things to do would be cool to show up to the coronation. I mean, those don't happen very often.
Well, anyway, on a more important note, the subtitles have come on the TV, and he's singing, "It's a merry-go-round. Come join our party." Oh God, Prince Charles, aka King Charles, now though is just so uninspiring. I mean, I don't know why people had this kind of respect for the Queen, probably for some reason. Probably because she was so old-fashioned and so, just not like the younger royals now who are starting to come out and start, giving out biographies and all that kind of thing. But
yeah, I also think there was still a generation of people who had a lot of reverence for the title for her. What is that Sam Smythe guy or Sim Smath? Is he performing?
It would have been good if he'd come out
in one of his stupid ass outfits,
dressed as a devil or whatever. I mean, I don't know what he did. He was like, was it a conscious effort or something? Like, he got really slimmed down and he was really slim. Then he went the other way again. Well, I'm going to get fat now again.
I don't think that's conscious. I think that the poor man has a food addiction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Although I will say, if you ask, I'm sure if you ask Mandela Man, he hasn't told me this, he would say that he became satanic and that's all on purpose, and he's a part of the cabal or some shit like that.
Oh, it's all. I mean, the thing is, though, if you go on any of these things that young people are into now, like TikTok and all that, everything's satanic now,
Is that right?
It's just another hashtag thing, isn't it? It doesn't mean anything.
I refuse to watch TikTok. I won't download the app.
Well, I'm not suggesting that anybody looks at it, but you know, anybody who thinks it's cool to like upload a video of themselves dancing or lip syncing to a song, that's just to me lame as F.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, it is the way of the world now with young people.
Yeah, I mean, earlier Ashton just mentioned, has anyone seen The Sopranos? That's like a big thing that we talked about in the past. But and then you know, it was my refusal of watching it, which partly led to Josh leaving.
Right. Was a prime example of your oppositional defiance disorder. ODD. James Woolley suffers from oppositional defiance disorder.
Mm.
It's
Thanks
an
for hammering it
affliction
home.
that he has no control over.
I'm still trying to deal with it.
No, he is not a cunter, Gary. He just has oppositional defiance disorder. Who else is performing other than those two Americans? They got to have some British people performing. As like
Katy Perry and
she's American.
Take That are going to perform, but it's like Take That was supposed to have 5 members. If you just come out as 3 of you, that's a pile of shit. Sorry.
Yeah, why don't they get?
But like, if a band is 5 members, you don't come out as just 3 of you, do you? If I was King Charles, I'd say to them, "You're not performing if it's just 3 of you, okay?"
Right. Well, why don't they get like that? It Was All Yellow too. That band. You think that'd be a good band to?
Oh yeah,
English.
Coldplay.
Coldplay. That's a good band to bring to perform. They're English.
They're probably too expensive.
Oh yeah,
like most of these people are not. I don't mean to be horrible, but it's like, you know, when people are the big thing, you know, like these acts are now almost like heritage acts, as they call them, or something. I mean, Lionel Richie, I don't even know what he is, but he's just kind of
in his 70s at this point.
He's like immensely successful. So
no, I mean, he had massive hits in the 80s, and
yeah, I do. I mean, the ones I know from the 80s, I did like.
I didn't know he was producing new music.
Well, you know, unless you follow the artist closely, you won't know, will you?
Remember that video, Hello, where he's trying to bang a blind chick, and she's touching his face and making a statue or a bust of him.
That was quite moving.
Very touching. Yeah, very touching.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton's saying that Kyle's even on TikTok.
TikTok is a psyop by the Chinese.
No, I'm not a cunter. Since Gary's written that, I don't know why he wrote that. But,
no, he's saying that he explains later on. TikTok people are cunters.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I don't think they necessarily know what they sign up for, though, do they? So
it's something that, like, it's an occupation now, like, which I kind of like that it's open, because I do like I like things like YouTube, and I like things like where people who don't have the ins in Hollywood or something can produce entertainment for people. You know what I mean? You don't have to go the one route.
You mean like Freddy in Twin Peaks: Return?
Precisely, right. Things like that. That's a great example.
Characters. So.
Yeah, well, whatever. He was fine. He didn't do anything wrong. He played his character fine. But I do like that he went away from the traditional route of Hollywood, and I like that kind of thing. I think YouTube. There's YouTubers out there who are better than most newscasters and things like that. You know what I mean? So I do like the availability of alternative media for people and for myself, truthfully. So, you know.
Well, yesterday I watched a Channel 4 45-minute program presented by the Scottish comedian Frankie Boyle called Farewell to the Monarchy. And it was a pretty good outline of like what the monarchy is and where it came from and everything. So, and obviously he's not optimistic about its future from that, but It was very informative, I'll say, going back to like William the Conqueror and how they just basically divided the country up. And then they had the Doomsday Book where they basically, would charge people for everything, and that's how the king made their living. They just live off the people, don't they? So
Sure.
he was like living in lavish luxury and everything, and then then everyone else, the peasants, etc., were living in poverty. So.
Yeah, sure. Haven't you seen Monty Python?
Oh yeah,
that's a great example of serfdom and all that kind of thing. That was my introduction to the whole thing. I'm not making a joke, by the way. That was my introduction to the whole serfdom and how it worked and all that kind of thing. And it was relatively accurate.
No, I mean, it very much continued right up till now, but also...
was that Life of Brian where they showed that? Am I thinking the right one? Or was it Holy Grail where they showed the people... Maybe it was Holy Grail. I can't remember. Sorry.
You had you had Queen Victoria. It's fine, and her coronation happened. And everything. It was one of the first real displays of such luxury and kind of money and everything, and gold carriages and all that business. And then less than a mile, from that in London, people were living in poverty, sort of like. You'd see they had pictures, for instance, this was when photographs were starting to be taken, and there'd be like young girls, sort of like an 8-year-old girl or something, cradling a baby, because not obviously that she'd had a baby at age 8, but the mum was at work, so they had to look after the child.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was a child, for some reason, my mom had a VHS tape of Princess Di's wedding for whatever reason. And I remember asking her, why the hell would you even care about something like that? You know what I mean? And she goes, she was just so glamorous and we all loved it back then and that kind of thing. So this was in Canada. So,
No, I think that definitely... Princess Diana was a big sort of icon and a draw for the royal family, and like when she died and everything, it was a major blow for them.
Yeah, I'd like to bugger that Kate Middleton. Sorry if that offends you.
Bugger.
Or bollocks, or whatever you want to call it.
All right, come on now.
She's very elegant. She's great.
Have you heard of Paloma Faith?
No, I'm not familiar.
She's an English singer. She's singing now. So.
Okay, good. They should have some English people. They shouldn't have any Americans, quite honestly. I would have brought all English people.
Well, in light of a controversial post you made on Facebook, not about, in all seriousness now, this is...
Was it controversial? Was that offensive? I'll take it down if it's offensive.
No, I think anyway, whatever. But as a sort of reality check, whilst this whole on the eve of the coronation, there were 3 stabbing deaths across East London. So
I read an article about
in Walthamstow, Dagenham, and Hackney, all unconnected. It says, but one was a 16-year-old boy. So
this is more my mockery of him. So that post, that for anybody who doesn't know, I posted a thing saying, but we don't have guns in Britain, and it shows a guy getting stabbed, just a cartoon. And my point of that post was not mocking the English people, obviously. Well, not obviously. It's more mocking Americans. There is a lot of Americans out here who think that things are so bad here and that Western European countries do it right, and that they want to move to Western European countries and all this sort of thing, which is fine. But my mockery of it is that these people have no knowledge of anything. They don't know anything. They've been nowhere. They've just been taught to think that everything is wrong here. So that was more with that comment. But I mean, I guess it's insensitive now, especially when there was another shooting the other day. So
stabbings.
Yeah, no, but in America there was also a shooting. A big
It's
one.
all bad, regardless. Whether-
Yeah, I suppose it was in bad taste, but I've been in a weird mood lately, so that's probably part of the problem.
No, you just wanted a bit of like attention, and I mean, you got it. I mean, you had, yeah, from Sean and Jeannie. I mean, what the hell? You got the best people.
They're friends of mine. I like them. So. But again, if you look at my posts,
They worship you. That's why.
If you follow my Facebook page, I post nonsense, like just nonsense. Like one of my favorite memes is the guy who talked the girl. It's just a guy talking to a girl, and it's thanks for fixing my mental health. The guy says, and the woman says, "I literally just let you suck my titties." This was more. This was more about, that was more of a mental health note, to help people out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help people.
Well, I think it does help. I mean, in that it just to let people know, as bad as things are, something as simple, some simple pleasure in life, such as a woman letting you enjoy her breasts. That's all it takes to turn things around sometimes. And maybe don't look so down. In fact, you know what? I'm glad I looked at that meme again, just for personal reasons. Sometimes you just need, and I'm not saying you need sex, but it's just like, sometimes it's a simple pleasure like that can
All
just
right. Come
it's
on.
just find what that is. I'm not making a joke. Now, people mocked me for that post. Tim Nickel, our friend, he found it somewhat he was mocking it, like he was implying it was like an incel type of comment.
Well,
I don't agree.
Delete his comment then.
No, I don't delete comments. He deleted his own, I think.
Oh.
Because I asked him to expand on it, and then he, whatever. But Tim's a fine fella. I'm not trying to. I mean, but I post nonsense. Like I posted a comment about an article about the whatchamacallit, the myth of the wage gap. You know what I mean? These are things I don't post serious things. I posted a comment on how Prince Harry showed up to the Queen's funeral with shoes with a hole in the bottom of them. I don't post serious. I mean, this is the kinds of things. So, if anybody was offended by that, then
what the hell? I just saw like there was this whole ceremony. It keeps cutting to these kind of places, which are obviously associated with the royals, like Windsor Castle and stuff, with light shows. And there was like the cliffs of Dover, it looked like, or something, and it says on it, "Keep shining." And it looked like the same font as the Shining film poster. So why are they making a reference to like The Shining during this whole thing? I bet you, if someone like Mandela,
wait, hang on, a purposeful reference?
No, of course not. But I think the people who are like, for instance, the creators behind it, they have realised that it's the same font for the Shining film poster, and nobody else is going to notice, are they? It's just like an in-joke, but.
Really?
I'm just saying, like someone like, but now there's like Stella McCartney, I think it is, and she's in a fully red sort of top, red suit top and jacket. I mean, what the fuck am I talking about?
Sorry, so I apologize, James. I'm trying to follow. I know you're looking at it, but I'm not. Where did they use a Shining font?
It was basically a shot of some cliffs. I don't know if it's the cliffs of Dover. That would seem a little bit like farther away than where they're filming, mainly in London. But considering that the Royals do own 30% of land in England, and do you know they own shopping centres and shops?
No, I'm not familiar with what I knew they had businesses, but I wasn't aware.
Well, maybe they own the land that it's on. I don't know, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, probably they own tons of land.
They own even more in Scotland than in England.
Is that right?
Well, Scotland's smaller as well, though. So
yeah, okay.
But,
well, there you go. Is Paul McCartney performing?
I think he said he's a staunch anti-royalist and he doesn't want to appear.
Wait, he's a knight. He's been knighted. How can he be an anti-royalist?
It's a good point, actually. I don't know what the hell this whole ceremony, like now they've got flipping they're at Windsor Castle, obviously, and they've got pictures to do with the climate now all coming up.
Climate.
Well, you know that Prince Charles has always been very interested in
No, I
this
don't
sort
know
of
that.
thing, the natural world. So,
All right. So there's no work tomorrow. It's a bank holiday, as you call it. So people are going to be cocking up these pubs, these local pubs. Hey, let's get fucking drunk. Hey, we got a new king now. It's time to get a few points down me throat. Down me throat.
well, they're not showing stuff like that. They don't have cutaways to Derby's White Horse pub, where like last night it was about,
we're gonna cut to the Cat in the Fiddle pub over here, and here's Liam. He's celebrating. Oi, so that's something. I'm sure that's going on. There's no work tomorrow for people.
yeah. I don't think people are that bothered as a whole about all of this, but
Well, they get a long weekend, which is always a pleasant thing, right? Isn't Victoria Day coming up in May? Isn't Victoria Day in May?
I don't even know what Victoria Day is.
Is that just a Canadian thing, Victoria Day? We used to have Victoria Day in Canada. Victoria Day. Oh, it is a Canadian holiday.
There has been already, actually, if you go on, for instance, the Daily Mail, which I look at by it being pretty disgraceful paper and everything, but it just says so much about celebs and stuff. But it does feature like, oh, look at these lasses out last night at the town with their short skirts. The articles
And the
like
spray tans. Yeah. That's
look
great.
at this. With
I like
the Daily Mail, it goes like, it always says things like, it uses the same phrases to get around anything which sounds rude.
Yeah, they use
As
these
in,
like cheeky phrases, as you people
every
say.
woman has got a pert derriere. Or,
Very pert indeed.
yeah, they just put it in these sort of typical words which are just reused again and
Salacious
again.
words. So, just as an FYI to you,
Cleavage as well is always mentioned.
Yeah, Victoria Day is a federal Canadian public holiday celebrated on the last Monday preceding May 25th to honor Queen Victoria. The holiday has been observed in Canada since at least 1845. So that was a big drinking holiday when I was a teenager, when I was a young man growing up in Canada. So there you go.
Oh, apparently there was Miss Piggy and Kermit involved at one point.
Do you know what Brian Mahoney's referencing when he says, I purchased a Backstage subscription for a month? I'm regretting it. What is Backstage?
I honestly, I don't know even what that
Okay, I
is.
thought that was some English thing.
No, if maybe he can just elaborate and then we'll.
Yeah, if you would, Brian. Josh says, go ahead.
You've got a screen that you wanted to show, though, haven't you?
Yeah, Josh says the pub stuff will be all on the news tomorrow. Well, that's great. And Gary's saying that Tuesday is going to be extra busy because of tomorrow will be off for you people. Well, there you go. Come on, Gary. Gary, you should be down there at the coronation. You're in London.
They've realised basically that people aren't interested in any of the grown-up royals, so there's just like constantly photos of the young ones who are all like under 10 or something. They've got a headline in the Daily Mail: stealing the show. Prince George and Charlotte dance and jig along to the coronation concert, but the princess isn't too sure about Pete Tong's Ibiza classics.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's probably because you've never heard them before. So,
yeah,
I'm sure
I barely understood any of the words you said in that sentence. So,
Pete Tong is a. Have you never heard of Pete Tong?
No, I'm not familiar. Sounds like a great name, though, Pete Tong.
Just a DJ dance music type person. I don't really know other than that, to be honest. Just one of these huge DJs who made it very successful.
Oh, yes, Brian, you've been in this chat before saying that you did some extra work, right? If I remember correctly. Okay.
It's sort of a thing to be able to get work for being an extra. Or...
Yeah, that's my understanding. Well,
I think I'd actually be a very good extra.
Sure. Absolutely. And it'd be fun, right? But I mean, Brian had some inside info that he was unable to share with us the last time he was here. So you won't be working for a while with the writer's strike. The writer's strike has halted production in Hollywood.
Well, I was disappointed that I didn't get any extras work on the film that was made by Sia, the singer, the one called Music, where it was about the young autistic girl. And,
Was that filmed in Derbytown?
some of it was, yes, filmed down at the Model Makers Train exhibition.
But did you even try to get on the extra list, or did you just show up there one day? Oh, I'd like to come in there and enjoy the craft services, and I'll stand around if you need me to.
I did, yeah. Did just turn up there, but still managed to get in the background of one shot.
Okay. I think you'd be fine. Like, I think you would have been great if they had hired you for the return during that car accident scene. I think you would have been terrific. You would have done better than most of the extras that were involved.
Oh, you mean like the vanishing bodies and stuff?
No, like when the reaction shots to the kid getting hit, run over by the truck. Those extras, those people.
But when the car explodes outside where there's that 119 woman living, and
yeah.
If in that shot there's like people who've come out to have to see what's happened and then immediately go back inside.
Yeah, I think you would have been good for that too.
It's just a common thing that occurs around there. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's more holidays in Canada versus the U.S. I've not counted. All right, Josh is all hot and bothered that Katy Perry is performing. I mean, who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? Although I like some of her songs. I like that Fireworks song. It's catchy.
Yeah, well, you can bet that she's going to do that one, isn't she?
I would imagine. Oh, I wonder if they'll shoot fireworks off while she sings it. Wouldn't that?
They're not going to be like playing "You're So Gay," are they?
Oh, right.
She actually had a song called "You're So Gay."
I'm not familiar, but okay.
Probably wouldn't be vetoed for album inclusion in this day and age.
Yeah. Gary suggests you apply to be an extra on EastEnders. I think that would be good. I know you love the show, and that would be.
I would like to be one of the well-known guys, who's behind the scenes on the market, who just occasionally say a few words or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to have a market store that was me basically just selling. I don't know, just movie and music memorabilia.
Will she sing that "Kiss the Girl" song at that thing? It's interesting. Well, I mean, it celebrates diversity of sexuality, so maybe they will.
She's singing "Raw" first of all.
How does that one go? I'm raw down there. I just had me period.
Like that.
Okay.
I am the eye of the tiger fighter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kate doesn't look too impressed. Actually looks a bit pissed off because she's like probably thinking, oh, Kate looks better than me.
Katy Perry is lovely. She really is. Former Christian singer turned pop star and anti-Christian singer.
Yeah, I don't think she's anti-Christian.
No, not anti-Christian, but singing about lesbian activities is anti-Christian.
She's not Sam Smith, is she?
No, she's not, but she's subtly. Also, she has a video where she has things sticking out of her nipple area, which is highly inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, you mean with Christian. The cream coming out of it?
Cream coming out of her nipples is satanic.
Just imagine the amount of, 12-year-old girls who saw that and they went to the dark side.
Yeah.
A disgrace.
Imagine the boys when they finally get a hold of a pair of boobies and no cream comes out. What would that do? That would make people lose faith.
Well, I don't think many people would realistically expect that to happen, surely. they can see it's like a joke, and the whole thing is it's supposed to be funny, you know.
It's supposed to be sexy.
Well, and yeah. Anyway, what was this clip you're supposed to be showing?
It's not a clip. It was just an article I thought we could go through, but I don't know if you want to. I enjoy dark comedies, and I thought we could go through some of these films if you want.
Well, it's funny. I did actually rewatch. I've been doing a lot of rewatching, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Josh is getting so excited about Katy Perry.
He's just excited.
He's going apeshit.
He's in. What's he gonna do? He's flying tomorrow. It's a big night for him. Fucking Katy Perry's on. All right, so let's see. We can see if what you think of these movies. Have you seen this film? Thanks for Sharing, starring Mark Ruffalo. I have no familiarity with this movie, but I like the dark comedies. Are you familiar? He's sitting like a gay homosexual in this picture.
I don't think that's what the film's about, though.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe
I've heard of it. I'm not sure.
We can't comment on that. We haven't seen it. I Care a Lot. We've both seen this film on Netflix. I enjoyed it. Do you remember this one?
I Care a Lot. Yeah. I do.
Where she was ripping off old people, and Peter Dinklage is in it.
Yeah. It was okay, that one.
It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Was it a dark comedy? I suppose so. I don't know.
She was pretty good in the main role.
She was good because she was so hateable, which was the intention. So that was good writing, good acting. She was very hateable in that movie. My God. But that was the intent. So she's a good actress. I enjoy her work.
Yeah, she had a real, bitch face. But...
Yeah. It was even more than that. But yes, that was certainly part of it.
Yeah,
Actually,
I don't mean to.
She always plays hateable people, doesn't she? Regularly play hateable people, right?
That's because the actress is actually hateable as well.
Oh, she's a real C. Okay, there you go. Hollywood Inside, everybody. A Simple Favor, 2018. I am not familiar with this, but I love me some Blake Lively. She is lovely. I'll have to check this out.
Oh, that film.
A not so usual chick flick with
Anna
drama and
Kendrick
intrigue.
well.
Yeah, it was made into a huge success primarily because of the brilliant performances of Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. Blake Lively owned her character Emily gracefully as an immensely successful woman who is dominant and always gets what she wants. Well, I would give Blake Lively pretty much whatever she wanted. Look at her. She's lovely. Okay. Game Night, unwatchable film. I don't know how this is even a dark comedy. I could not get through this film, and I love Jason Bateman. 85% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Oh, my God. Jesus. I mean, this movie has a tremendous cast. It's got John Hamm in it. Like I said, Jason Bateman, but I could not get through this movie. Oh, no, hang on. Am I confusing this with...
Ashton is just claiming that Game Night is incredible.
I might be confusing this with... Oh, no, there's a movie called Tag. I'm confusing this with the movie called Tag. No, this is not a bad movie. My mistake, everybody. I apologize. There's a movie called Tag with, I think Jeremy Renner is in it, for God's sake. Where it's like adults who carry on a tag game over the years. It was just... My God, one of the worst things ever. I could not get through it. Yeah, sorry, my mistake, everybody. Tag is the film I was thinking of, not Game Night. Game Night is a good film. All right. You haven't seen Game Night, I presume?
I think I might have watched a bit of it. I don't know. It seemed fine to me as well, as far as just for an entertaining film.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's not trying to be like some kind of work of art, is it?
No. Have you seen this movie? This is the kind of film you want to watch. Sorry to bother you.
I watched about half of that one, and I didn't have any actual problem with it, but it was just taking the kookiness right up to 10 and or 11, and I was just a bit, it's, I don't know. Sometimes a film has to go from somewhere to something or other. It can't be just all kook fest,
Mm-hmm.
But then I always had problems even with films like, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that kind of thing.
Mm.
I mean, I think that's good, but
Yeah, it's okay. I never got into that film, and I love surreal.
like
film.
Wes Anderson films, they're a bit. It's just full on right from beginning to end sometimes, especially the way his films have become. Maybe, but
I understand why some people don't like Wes Anderson's work. I am personally a fan for the most part. Okay, so this movie is about pits working people against their biggest villain, capitalism. Never watched that. All right. The Menu. Now, this is a movie I intended to watch because I love me some Anya Taylor-Joy. Have you seen this film?
yeah, I've watched The Menu, and it's okay, but I thought it was a bit of a letdown in terms of the level of film it was going to be. I thought it was a bit more of a major film. It sort of feels like a made-for-TV thing, But it's okay.
Okay. Do you classify it as a dark comedy? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I suppose it is, but it's not that hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. This is not a dark comedy. This is a straight up balls to the wall ass comedy, Dictator. It's got its moments, Sir Ben Kingsley, is he in attendance at the coronation? He's also been knighted.
He's actually gone dressed up as his character from Sexy Beast. Yeah.
I wish.
He comes on the stage calling everyone in the royal family a C. So,
all right, you cunts, keep it down. All right. God, he's so fucking good in that movie. Like he looks like he weighs 110 pounds and he plays an intimidating person. You know what I mean? That tells you something,
Right, just give me a chance, because Take That are now performing. Oh my God, it's only 3 of them. Let's not Take That.
I don't even know who that band is. Sorry.
Bullshit. It's the band that Robbie Williams was in.
Oh, right. Robbie Williams should be there.
You don't give an F now about him.
Robbie Williams is the #1 pop star in England. Isn't he?
Yeah, but they're definitely going to go for like clean cut acts, aren't they?
Oh, he doesn't, you think he would go on there and do something stupid?
No, but I think he's a little bit, known for his drug intake and all that kind of stuff, isn't he?
So is he not there as part of this band?
No, this is what I'm saying. It's like,
I don't know who this band is. So Robbie Williams was in a boy band.
Yeah, they started as a boy band, like literally 30 years ago. 5 members. Right. And they initially, when they first appeared, they marketed themselves to through gay clubs as well in this country.
Sure. So now they've got 3 out of 5, and Robbie Williams is not one of them.
Yeah, the 5-member boy band has been reduced to...
Yeah, but the biggest, most famous member, that would be like NSYNC without Justin Timberlake.
Well, they did, he did reunite with them. But anyway, that's...
What is the point of having that act on? Gary was a big fan of that band, I imagine. Gary likes that kind of boy band stuff. As an Englishman. All right. Sorry, I don't want to take you away from watching this performance.
Gary's a massive fan of the last 2 underrated albums, As a Threesome as well.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. All right. So Dictator is not a dark comedy, is a straight up ball to the wall comedy. Whatever. Sacha Baron Cohen, he kind of shot his wad, I think. And he hasn't been able to come up with anything.
Well, even by the time he got to Bruno, I mean,
Bruno was not good. Yeah, shot his wad at that point.
Bruno just came across as like, at times, yeah, it was funny, but it was also distasteful.
It was too much. It was just trying to be overly wild.
Like showing a dick swaying back and forth whilst you're sitting in the cinema.
Right.
And I was watching that with my bro friend. We did, for a moment, think we were gay.
Right. Well, that would cause that. So it's like the Jackass movies. They just started having more dick trauma, penis trauma. Like that's how they upped the level of these things. It just means you're out of ideas. and he was good as an actor in Talladega Nights, playing a supporting role. But like, for example, the movie where he's a spy, what's that one called? Do you know the film I'm talking about? The comedy he did.
Do you
I
mean the
actually
one that was released here called Grimsby? It was
Yeah, the Brothers Grimsby or something like that.
in America. It was called The Brothers Grimm. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. That I actually thought the trailer looked good for that. I was actually looking forward to that film. Oof, that was a bad film. Not funny at all, really bad. So he shot his wad, and
I
guess
actually
that's why
I saw that in the cinema.
wow, there you go. What made you want to go see that in the cinema? Just you were looking for a laugh, or just looking for something to see, or were you actually looking forward to it like me, like you had high hopes for it?
Probably because it was something different to what he'd done before, and it was vaguely appealing, but I knew it was going to be fairly terrible. So yeah.
All right.
Okay with that.
Okay. It's not a dark comedy by any stretch of the minute. Oh, I actually love this movie, Promising Young Woman. I actually really enjoy this film. And yeah, I'd give it a dark comedy title. Now I know you had your issues with this film, right?
Well, no, I think it was good overall. Yeah, it was quite a good film. It was pretty dark, I'll say.
Very much so.
I don't think it was a comedy, really.
It had some, yeah. It wasn't a straight up like crime drama either, though. So I guess that's why they're classifying it as a comedy. I mean, they play the Paris Hilton song. There's that scene, and
oh yeah, it's got this kind of light side to it, which is effective in terms of when it gets dark.
She was miscast in the role, but her acting was good and the script was good, and the directing was very good by this lady, Emerald Fennell. I believe she's Australian or perhaps from New Zealand, but she did a good job directing the film.
I don't think she was miscast. Who would be better than her, really?
She was supposed to be playing like a 24-year-old girl or something like that. Or she's a medical school dropout, so she was like 26, 27. She just looked much older to me. I don't know why.
Well, you have to be. Just imagine that she was 24.
Okay, check it out though, people. It's got like some messaging and stuff like that, which I don't believe in. Like I don't believe in the messaging of it, but I can separate the art from the messaging.
Well, I would just like to say I do agree with the messaging, whatever that is, and I give it 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And especially since it's a pro-capitalism film, so
it is not a pro-capitalism. It has nothing to do. It's a hashtag Me Too film, and it takes the extremes of that message. But it also tries to make a message which I don't agree with. But whatever. Otherwise, I still enjoy the movie nonetheless. Which is another indication of how good the film was done. If has terrible messaging, but I still enjoyed it. All right. Heathers, I mean, people love this movie. I like the movie. But I almost feel like I have to rewatch it because I don't know why people went so bananas for it. Like you went bananas for it, but I think it's just because
it was unusual at the time. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
There weren't sort of a lot of films that had that kind of style.
No.
Or it had sort of some Brat Pack members, but it had definitely a dark comedy feel. So,
okay, so let's see here.
Oh my God, Blackpool are on it now.
Who's Blackpool? I don't know these bands. So at least they're bringing English acts.
Blackpool are like
a band of black people. I know Blackpool is like a hot area to live in if you're going to move
near
to
Josh.
England. Yeah, I know it's a hot area.
Yeah, it is actually. It's very, very much, on the rise.
Okay. Are you familiar with this film? Have you seen this film, The Banshees of Inisherin?
I have, yeah. I watched it recently. Yeah.
What was your review of this film?
I wasn't very keen on it in the end.
I wasn't blown away with it either, but I enjoyed it. It was watchable, but it was certainly no In Bruges, which is an excellent film.
It's like maybe, I don't know, the first hour or so seemed quite good, but then it just didn't. It wasn't a comedy particularly in it.
I think there was one scene where actually I did laugh. I can't remember what the comment was. Otherwise, it's about a manic depressive man and then a suicidal man and their relationship with one another, juxtaposed with 1920s Civil War in Ireland. Like, I don't understand what was so great. Like, the character played by the other actor, not what's his name, not Colin Farrell, the other fella,
Brendan Gleeson.
His character is a psychotic individual. Like, he's psychotic. Colin Farrell's.
No, we don't even get any chance to know the character in before how he was when they were friends. So the fact that he decides that he doesn't want to be friends with him anymore,
which is an asshole move in and of itself,
just seems like
they live in like a town of 15 people.
Why?
And, no, I don't want to be your friend. And if you keep talking to me, I'm going to start mutilating myself. Like, this is a psychotic person. Like, that is not a normal person. Like, that person would be taken to an insane asylum, you know? And Colin Farrell's just depressing, poor guy. You know, you're happy to see his sister get out of that area, but whatever. Anyway, so I don't know. I mean, people made such a big deal about this movie. It's watchable, but I would give it like 2.5 bags of popcorn. Maybe if you push me, put it to 3, I suppose. I mean, but anyway, all right. Like, for example, Promising Young Woman is a superior film, in my opinion. But there's some good shots, and this director is no doubt talented. I just, and you know what? Actually, the guy who plays the Joker in the latest Batman, he's a scene stealer. He's good in the movie. What's that actor's name, James? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Barry, and I don't know how to say second name.
Yeah, he plays a simple character. His performance was good, but all he's playing is like a simpleton. But he's just a good actor, that kid. So anyway, you can watch. I mean, it's
he's not necessarily that simple. He's more just damaged.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
And like I found
unsophisticated, maybe. Yeah,
I found the way that character, like, he could verbalize things quite well, actually. But the trajectory of that character as well, I found it too just depressing. So
yeah, I thought maybe that Colin Farrell's sister might actually say, "Okay, well, maybe I'll give you a shot. We can get married or something," since she was whatever. But no, nothing like that in that movie. Anyway, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So, as a film, it's, you tip your hat to the filmmaking here, and the performances by Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro. It's too much balls to the wall drug use for me, and I find that annoying personally. But I know every stoner I've ever met loves this movie to no end. And I engaged in drug use when I was a young man, mostly when I was a teenager, but I don't, I'm not particularly enamored with this film. How do you feel about this film?
No, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I saw it in the cinema back then.
Yeah.
It's very well made.
Very well made. Very well made. That's why I can't say it's a bad movie. Not in any level. Super duper well made. And as I said, excellent performances. Even this stupid shot, like the tone that the movie sets, like I don't know if it's filters on camera, whatever, the lighting even, like it's who made this movie, by the way? It's really a masterpiece.
Terry Gilliam, yeah.
Okay. It's really a well-made movie. All righty. All right. Knives Out. Very overrated. Decent film. Is it a dark comedy? Yes, it does qualify as a dark comedy. I'll give it that. People blew a load over this movie.
The first one is better than the second one, I'll say that. But
oof, was it ever? Yeah.
The second one was almost like kind of a spin-off done as a bit of a joke or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. Right. I can't. Daniel Craig's accent. I say, I used to be a James Bond, and now I'm playing a brilliant detective in America with a Southern accent. It's like, and I watched a lot of Foghorn Leghorn on the Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoons to learn this here accent. It's annoying.
Well,
All right.
well, no, the concert's finished now.
Oh, that's a shame. Who was the closing act? That Robbie
Take
whatever
That.
band? Really? That's who closed the concert?
Yeah, and at the end, I don't agree with them saying F you, Robbie, as well.
Yeah. That's who closed the concert? So that would essentially be the headlining act. Interesting. Huh. All right. I don't know what's up.
Maybe you should respect them a bit more, to be honest.
Well, truthfully, I'm disappointed in Paul McCartney. He's a Beatle. He's a knight. He should have gotten Ringo out. The two of them should have gone up there and done a performance. Has Ringo Knight been knighted? No, I don't think so. So no, just Paul McCartney then. He doesn't need Ringo Starr.
What about Mark Knopfler?
Sorry, who? Oh, right.
Dire Straits.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not. Yeah.
What about Elton John?
Why aren't they calling? Well, Elton John's a bit of a you know what. So he might just be like, didn't he retire formally?
No.
Oh, I thought he said he formally retired.
I think if anyone suits this kind of event, it's Elton John.
Well, truthfully, he should. All these people who are knighted, they should be answering the country's call when the new king is there. I mean, but I almost feel like they're being defiant and not performing because it's not cool to like the monarchy anymore. You know? Come on.
No, I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's just to do with the fact that they've only got so many spaces for people. And
What? They want to make space with Paul McCartney. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus.
Yeah, but it's not.
He's Paul McCartney. They put Lionel fucking Richie on. It's not like he's a current act. I mean, Jesus. Don't tell me they had
the
room
thing
for
is, they didn't
Lionel
want to
Richie.
make everybody to be, real oldies so much. They wanted it,
All right. All right, whatever. Your English.
For me, I think they should have put like Right Said Fred on there or something.
Oh my God, that would be great. All right, what about, have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
I watched quite a lot of that film, but not all. Yeah, to be fair.
You couldn't get through it, could you? It's a nice movie.
It's not
Taika
like that.
Waititi.
It's just that I didn't watch the whole thing.
Well, that implies you didn't enjoy it.
No, I liked it. I did like it.
Taika Waititi, or Waititi, whatever the hell his name is, he's gotten a little too big for his britches, but the man is talented. And
Okay.
this is a good example of his talent. This is a good film. What We Do in the Shadows is a far superior film, not the show, the film. And I recommend you watch that movie. That's one of my favorite films. This is a good film as well.
But no Matt Berry in it.
No Matt Berry in this. No Matt Berry in What We Do in the Shadows, but that's how good the movie is. It's still fantastic. The little heavyset boy, he steals the movie. Oh, Jojo! He's a real scene stealer in this. And Taika Waititi as Hitler is pretty good too. Stephen Merchant is in it briefly in the film, and his scenes are terrific. But I'm a big fan of Stephen Merchant, so I might be somewhat biased there.
All right, stop going on about Stephen Merchant now.
Don't have a go at the Stephen Merchant, please.
He's going to start going on about his bloody sitcom that he had.
Oh, which one?
I think there's one called Hello Ladies or something like that.
I watched that. It was disappointing. Not great.
No, I actually think he is just naturally very funny, and it's not.
I think so too.
Not the fact that he's a googly-eyed, tall.
No,
person.
that's nothing to do with it.
They're saying that in the office.
Yeah.
They don't let.
Yeah, he gets, don't have a go at the eyes. I think he gets angry at him. Or let's not have a go at the eyes. Yeah, no, he seems like he'd be funny, and he's
going too far. It's not fair either.
He's in a TV show with what's his name, Christopher Walken, what's that show called where he's like in a rehab center or something like that? Yeah.
The Outlaws.
Yeah,
It's
The
a
Outlaws.
BBC
Yeah,
drama.
Outlaws. Yeah.
never
It's on
watched it.
Amazon in the US. I watched season 1. It's a bit of a kooky comedy, whatever, family-friendly comedy. But, it's not some of his best work, but it's okay. Fargo 1996 has some comedic elements. It's a brilliant film. There's nothing much else to say. If you haven't seen Fargo, you're an asshole. Go see Fargo.
That is a proper that is a proper dark comedy. If you're going to have that category, it is.
Well, a
genuinely
lot of
fits into
the Coen brothers in particular are good at mixing these genres that way. So mixing very dark crime stuff and then also throwing in some comedy and quirkiness. And again, if you haven't seen this film, you're a real asshole. So go watch it.
Well, William H. Macy is just. I mean, in that film in particular, he's just really good, both funny and brings.
Oh yeah, and she's good. People make a big deal about Frances McDermott. They make a big deal about her, but this is easily her best role. I mean, she's been good in other things, but this is easily her best role, playing a pregnant sheriff who solves the crime.
Right, can you stop going on about Frances McDormand, please?
Well, you all the actors I love.
First it's Stephen Merchant, now it's.
All right, she plays a pregnant woman in the whole.
We're just
thing.
looking at the films, not the performance.
And she has a very memorable part of the movie where she's after she catches the bad guy. I can't remember the actor's name. He's been in a million things, and she's driving him back in the car. She goes, "All that for just a little bit of money." Like, it was a very very well written scene, very well played scene by her. Steve Buscemi's in the movie. Underrated role for him. Steve Buscemi is good in everything, though. But he's
of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's very good in this movie.
Then he gets like shot partly in the face towards the end, and
he gets shot partly in the face, and then you see the other guy putting him in a wood chipper. Famous scene, the wood chipper scene.
Well, you didn't really see his leg, I think, but
yeah, you just see him putting the leg in. Yeah,
but you do feel sorry for him. But there's also something kind of comical about the whole thing.
Yeah. You start to feel William H. Macy again, like you said, he's so good in this. Like, you start to see everything unraveling for him, and you actually feel for him. Like when they call him up and ask him about why is there a car missing and all that kind of thing. Like, it's very well done. Okay,
he's like the small man the little man who kind of just
gets in over his head.
At some point he just sort of can't take it anymore, and he just takes it a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think that happens
like I did when I was on the canal barge in Manchester.
Oh, really? Did that was your breaking point, was it?
Yeah. I mean, it was, shall I say, it really opened me up to new experiences.
Okay, well, you were outside a gay bar, that's for sure. So, okay.
I wasn't. I was next to just a very normal bar, in fact.
Oh, I thought it was a gay bar.
People. No, it was actually called Straight, the bar.
Oh, I thought that was an ironic name for a gay bar. I thought when you walked in, it was very much like the bar in the Jeffrey Dahmer show.
No, I went in and I just had a orange juice. I said, "Is this bar completely straight?" And they said, "Yes."
Okay. All right.
So I mean, it was confirmed. Okay, so
all right. Did you enjoy your orange juice there?
Yes, I actually had 2 orange juices.
Orange juices. Wow, at night. Wow, okay.
I downed them. When I finished the second one, I slammed the glass so hard on the bar that it smashed. And I said,
believe that.
That's the mark of a real man. And they said, "Can you get out, please?"
Yeah, it's a good way to establish dominance too. So good for you. Let's see here. Let's keep going here through the list. We're at number 6, American Psycho. One of my personal favorite films, for sure in my top 15, if not top 10. I have not formally made a top 10 list, but this movie is certainly up there. It's a brilliant film. Is it a dark comedy?
Listen, you'll have to excuse me. I have a lunch meeting with Cliff Huxtable at Four Seasons in 20 minutes.
That was actually a message I played And I said it was from you when I was
Yes, I
doing
heard that. I saw that.
the video with Marlena.
I was very flattered that you think I'm.
Yeah, I think this is the epitome of a dark comedy for sure, and probably one of the most hilarious dark comedies out there.
Wonderful film. It is 23 years old, but it holds up like it was made today, since it is a period piece from the 80s. Go watch this film if you haven't. What the fuck are you doing?
I think it's a film that's improved with time, if anything, because it's the way it's directed and everything. It's sort of slightly, almost just in the middle, and then it kind of lends itself to looking back on a specific time. Because I mean, after all, at the time it was made, even then it was showing, the 80s.
Yeah.
So.
Directed by a female director, Mary Herron. Support female directors. They can direct as well, just as good as men, people. Don't forget. So enjoy this film. Yes.
Well, I just have another little... This was sent in by Voltaire when he was off last week.
This is Sussudio. Great song.
I do love that song.
Personal favorite. This is Sussudio.
I love Phil Collins. That's true. I do. I think he's underrated.
That's a great song. Which not only Phil though, that's Genesis as a whole. That's
Genesis song. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's.
I don't think you're correct about that.
It's the album with the sort of.
I think that Sussudio's on No Jacket Required. Let's look it up.
It's not.
Oh, No Jacket Required.
It has the hallmarks of being a full band track.
You're incorrect. No Jacket Required is on Sussudio is on the No Jacket Required album, which is a solo album. Yes. Don't you remember in that scene he's talking about that solo album? Look how good. Look at the track list on No Jacket Required. I Don't Want to Know, Inside Out, One More Night, Don't Lose My Number. Jeez. Just terrific. Great album. All right.
Oh, yeah, I was getting confused with the song Mama. Do you remember that one? By Genesis.
If I heard it, I imagine I would.
It so goes, Mama. It's singing it in a kind of like a nasty way, like Mama. And then it's got this bit where it goes, yeah, that bit.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Remember that?
No, not the way you're describing it, but I'll have to look it up.
I don't know why. I thought Sussudio was also on that album.
Well, no, typical. You're wrong. Number 5, The Wolf of Wall Street. Is that a dark comedy? I don't think so. It's a good film, of course, but it's not a dark comedy in my opinion. Have you even seen this film?
I would agree with you in that it was. I think at one point he mentions Patrick Bateman. He mentions Duke, doesn't he, from Genesis albums? So just looking up their albums here.
No, I don't remember him mentioning Genesis at all. Well, except for that he talks about how Phil Collins left Genesis.
Okay, all right. Stop hammering it home that I don't know anything. Okay.
No, I don't know that. I'm just saying your knowledge of Phil Collins is lacking because you don't respect the man as an artist. You don't give him the respect. I know he's not doing very well, but he should have been performing at the coronation this evening.
I don't think. Yeah, anyway, let's just move on to the next thing now.
All right, then. There you go.
You're going into some controversial areas.
Okay, so Wolf of Wall Street, excellent film again. Good performance by Leonardo DiCaprio, of course. It is not a dark comedy, in my opinion. They're really stretching.
Ashton says she doesn't like The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. I mean, the first time I watched it, I thought it was kind of too long. Actually, I think
it's effective as a sort of, men's fantasy in a sense, which
sure,
it's very enjoyable. I mean, it's even to the point of them, taking the Quaaludes and they're sort of dragging themselves all. I mean, which is a scene obviously which could have been played as dark comedy, but it's completely just played as
straight comedy.
Just crazy comedy. That's all it is. You don't have to see it any differently to a Farrelly brothers film, really, in my view.
This is the first film you'll see Margot Robbie in, and she is naked, but she complains about being too sexualized in Suicide Squad as what's her name, Harley Quinn.
I imagine that's more that she just was looking at the film and thinking, "This is not a very good film." Probably that's.
That character is iconic. Her role in Wolf of Wall Street could have been played by almost anyone, but this got her foot in the door. But she was naked. Okay.
Yeah, but I think the trouble now is that actors and everything, they can become associated with these superhero films, and then they think, "Oh, I'm not going to be taken seriously." So that's at that point you have to go and say, "Well, okay, I'll be in Barbie." That's so. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Barbie will be described as a dark comedy, but it could be entertaining, I imagine.
I don't know where they're going to go with that movie. I think it's PG-13, so it's not a kids' film. But I imagine it's going to be ironic and some kind of messaging for women or something like that.
Well, if they go with the surreal aspects that we used in the trailer, where it's like the giant ball and the 2001 music, and everything, I think that would be good. But you can't do that for the entire film. But Phantom Cooper actually says he doesn't like Wall Street or Scorsese.
Use the correct pronouns, especially in this day and age.
Well, how can you not like Scorsese? I mean, that's ridiculous.
She said she doesn't like Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, she doesn't like Scorsese. Well, that's crazy, Phantom Cooper. Come on now. I mean, he's got some terrific films.
No, I don't agree with you, Ashton. I mean, with all due respect, I don't think that Margot Robbie got popular because she was naked in that film. It's just because she got famous because she's like very smiley. She's very
she's beautiful,
outgoing, and very sort of. She's just like conventionally very nice looking, isn't she?
You say that as though it's a bad thing. It is.
Yeah, but I didn't find it that like sexy hair just suddenly being naked in Wall Street too much, because she's just sort of like, she's just kind of perfect, isn't she? She's just, she's bronzed. She's just got a very svelte, not huge bosoms or anything like that, but just
yeah.
She looks athletic, kind of thing.
Well, I don't know about all that, but she looks great. But
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you always have to disagree with me at the last point.
I wouldn't say athletic, but whatever. She has a tremendous figure.
I'm using that as a general sense, a general term.
She looks fit. Oi, she's a fit bird, ain't she? Why don't you just say
in
that?
the way of like, if say a female had like real big curves and like real bosoms, you wouldn't suddenly immediately say, okay, she's really athletic. And this is not trying to be horrible. Maybe unless she was a shot putter or a wrestler. So.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So, but to say this, you don't like Scorsese, that's a mistake, Phantom Cooper. He's made not just one or two. The man has several hits, several brilliant, absolutely brilliant films. Inglourious Bastards. Yes, it's got elements of dark comedy in it for sure. Is it the number 4? I don't agree.
The film, about Christ was good as well. If you want to watch that one ever, I recommend it.
Casino is obviously amazing.
Not The Passion of the Christ. What the hell is it called?
The last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah. I mean, that's some really great of Scorsese. I mean, the ending is really good, really good. The music by Peter Gabriel as well is fantastic.
Yeah. Sledgehammer, that's featured heavily in the film.
No. I don't know if I'm going mad now or something.
Eyes, the light, the heat. That's not in the movie either.
Okay, he did some big hits that you're confusing me now, but he definitely did the music for that as well.
Yeah, okay, I know. But his big hits are nothing like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm making a joke. Sledgehammer, because you wouldn't see a movie. You can't imagine a song like Sledgehammer being in a movie about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. All right. Okay. Yeah. So Glorious Bastards. I mean, what do you say? It's a good movie. Is it a dark comedy? Yes, has some aspects, but is it a? That's not what the
Well,
best
someone like
parts of-
Peter Gabriel would have been good at this whole.
Yeah,
coronation
there's another
business.
example. Yeah.
It's also songs he did are "Don't Give Up." That was with Kate Bush, wasn't it? Salisbury Hill. That's
Why
a good
not
song.
Kate Bush? She's had a resurgence. Bring her on.
I think he wrote a song as well for the "We Can't Dance" Genesis album, 1991. Jesus, He Knows Me. That's a controversial song, but
Okay.
so
What about the
maybe-
Pet Shop Boys? Where are they? Why not bring them?
What about Erasure?
Yeah, sure. Bring all the gay 80s bands.
What about U2?
No, they're Irish. Who's the band who sings London Calling? Why aren't they playing there? London Calling.
Well, probably because Joe Strummer's sadly not with us, the lead
Oh,
singer.
that's a shame.
So
That's a shame.
the Clash. Yeah,
Oh, that's the Clash. Okay.
you've gone too far now.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I haven't seen The Great Dictator, a Charlie Chaplin film.
What about Sting?
I mean, how's Sting doing nowadays?
Eric Clapton? You're doing well.
Dr. Strange. Okay, they're getting too much.
I've not spoken to him recently, but
How do you feel about this Kubrick film? It's black and white, so I've never seen it.
it's for a dodgy area for you.
You know.
Sorry, I've got the wrong screen on. Let me just look.
And Parasite is not the number one.
What
dark
Kubrick
comedy.
film?
What's it called? Dr.
Lolita.
Strange.
Oh,
No,
right. Yeah, I've never been massively keen on that film. I have watched some of it, but it's just, I suppose some people really like it. Probably if you saw it in the cinema, it might be quite good. But I mean, I'd rather go and see his film Lolita on the cinema. That'd be better. But yeah, Parasite is not a dark comedy.
No, it's a movie about awful people who do awful things. This family
a
is
film-
a group of awful people.
Well, it's just, I don't think that the entirety of them is that they're awful necessarily. It's just that it depicts the awful side of them, because this is what makes seemingly an entertaining film. I don't know if this is a Korean thing or not, but it can be a little bit one-dimensional though, can't it? When people are just jealous and covetous and all this kind of thing. Yeah.
It's covering class struggle and all that, but this group of people who are whatever, they're poor and so their goal is to destroy the lie. They end up destroying this family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the climactic scenes, the conclusion of the film as well, are quite, shocking, or not to be probably unexpected to some people, but I quite enjoyed it in its own sick way.
And this gentleman, Bong Joon-ho, is super duper talented, everybody. So he's made a few films that I would recommend. One of them being Snowpiercer, which follows a post-apocalyptic world where people are stuck on a train that's traveling perpetually in this post-apocalyptic world. It's a great film. I don't imagine have you seen Snowpiercer?
No, have you watched Memories of Murder though by him? You really should.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's excellent.
That wasn't going to be one of the films it's not one of the films I was going to recommend because I haven't seen it. I have seen.
You really should. Can I just say you really should?
Memories of Murder. Okay, I'll check it out if you say so. I like his work.
I just don't know why I keep recommending it to you, and then you're like,
Oh, you've recommended this in the past, have you?
Many. I've emailed you about it. I've sent.
So I have to be in the mood to watch with the subtitles. He also did a movie called The Host, a horror film, excellent film. Also, go
Can
ahead.
I just focus on Ashton's comment? She says, I admit there will be nudity in my films and shows, but I don't want that to be the starter of someone's career.
Oh, well, I respect
I think, I don't think you should try and make it the starter of someone's career, but if it does,
They had to get in the
Then-
door sometimes.
then it's good. You know, like if, say, someone's got a pet derriere.
Even you looking for a writing gig in this whatever. Oh, that's got a very scary movie poster. This Memories of Murder.
I'm going to actually be doing casting for
Mhm.
what's got a scary poster.
Memories of Murder.
I would say the sound to it is absolutely wonderful, really moody, beautiful,
Okay.
and I kind of put it up there with Twin Peaks in terms of how much I like it.
He's a good director, so I'll certainly give it a chance.
It does have a bit of a comical aspect, even in the fact that it's like it's based on a real murder mystery. So,
I think he puts a lot of comedy in his films in general. This fella.
and the lead actor is great. So that's
Yeah.
I should rewatch that one.
All right, Gary, take it easy. I know you're all riled up because you have a king now, but take it easy with the aggressiveness. I'll watch it. Yeah, The Host and Snowpiercer are classics. Snowpiercer's a
No,
good.
he's
film.
not telling you to watch Memories of Murder. He's just telling you in general, just watch it. That's what they're saying.
Oh, like watch my step. I'm going too far.
like, I'll watch it around here, will you?
All right,
Well,
mate, you've overstepped it over there. Yeah, I get it.
You do know, we've got like Hackney security on your tail.
No, he says it's his top 5 films, so Gary rates it quite highly. Wow.
What is?
Memories of Murder.
Blimey, I'm impressed, Gary. I must
That's
say.
his opinion, all right? Don't criticize the man.
But I think you know what music I mean, Gary, don't you? The woman singing, it's like it's got that similar feel to the way Julie Cruz was used in Twin Peaks, of course. This sort of
Oh, that kind of shit.
actually, yeah. But it's
No, I'm making a joke, but I like that kind of. I like that as part of a soundtrack.
it is like this angelic aspect,
score.
yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of. But it's just an all-round good film.
Okay.
Very, very atmospheric, and I always think that films should all be, really kind of have an atmosphere going for them. But of course, that's a bit of a ridiculous thing to look for because obviously all films aren't, that kind of atmosphere-led thing.
All right.
You can't expect a rom-com or a dark comedy to just be about the atmosphere, but
If it's done right, it can be. It can be a big part of it.
well, another film that I thought really works well in terms of its atmosphere was the remake of Insomnia that was Christopher Nolan, wasn't it? Was it? Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
The one with Al Pacino.
Oh, from years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that was it was basically the same kind of setting, but more like somewhere in Alaska.
Mm.
Or it is Nolan, yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of over Nolan, to be honest with you.
Well, what I've heard about, some people have seen trailers of or bits and
Oppenheimer.
pieces. It looks good.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Not just going to be a movie full of guys in tight suits doing shit upside down and stuff?
Upside down? What do you mean?
I don't know, running around in different dimensions or whatever. Or,
Oh, you mean like in Tenet?
yeah. I haven't been able to get through Tenet.
It doesn't surprise me.
I know that'll anger Josh because
I know you have a lot of. You're very against excessive use of reverse footage, whilst other people are going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I like the
that's specific.
aesthetic and I like the cast, but it just seems too
apart from
much.
maybe Kenneth Branagh.
What's wrong with Kenneth Branagh?
I didn't think he was great in that one.
Yeah, I tend to go
In that
back to
role.
one these days.
I mean, he was unlikable, but he just didn't really have the quite right quality.
Mhm.
Slightly drab somehow.
Yeah, Dan. Like I liked Memento. Obviously, that's a good movie, and his Batman films were whatever. But and I also liked Inception, to be honest with you. But I don't know what it is. It just maybe you know what? Maybe it's just too much. People made such a big deal about the Batman films, which I thought were just good. I mean, if it wasn't for the what's his name, the second one with the Joker, the guy who overdosed. What's his name again? Heath Ledger. Those Batman films wouldn't be as memorable as they are to you people. They wouldn't have been as highly praised. I'm telling you right now. Christian Bale was not great. I'm Batman. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think these previous films, from the Nolan films to the Affleck one, and now to the one with Robert Pattinson, the positive response to this latest one kind of indicates that maybe these previous ones weren't that great to start off with. Because
interesting.
I mean, I don't think the Pattinson one is necessarily a 5 out of 5 film, but it's. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it up to like 4 out of 5 or something.
Okay. It's become a property like 007 Batman. You know what I mean? Just keep making these movies every few years, put a new Batman in, and it's going to be good because the property itself the IP is so good and popular. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the Batman, you know, the whole film is basically set in the night, and so it's just kind of.
Are you talking about the Pattinson one?
Yeah, you know, it just sets out its stall very.
Yeah.
But then to
play
make
the Nirvana song, you know,
as long as it was, you know, it's kind of.
I'm looking forward to this, even though I don't like. I'm looking forward to this Colin Farrell Penguin show that's going to come out. It's supposedly very dark, and it's going to be adult themed and violent. And although I don't like the idea of a thin, attractive man being uglied up, hire an ugly actor to play the Penguin. I'm still looking forward to the show nonetheless. And he doesn't even look like friggin' Colin Farrell. Let's make Colin Farrell a very handsome man, ugly and overweight, instead of hiring an ugly and overweight actor.
I think you're being a bit harsh.
Well, how am I? Well, I don't know. Well, whatever. Did you know that there's going to be a show with that Penguin character? TV show.
I've seen a trailer for it.
Yeah, looks terrific.
Well, you know, it looks basically the same production values as the film.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more daylight. I mean, it's probably not going to have the same level of action sequences and look as good as the Batman film, but I don't know. It's just I don't really know what they're going to do with it. You know, it just seems a bit.
I imagine it's going to be a crime drama.
Yeah, obviously.
No Batman will appear in it, though.
Probably. How do you know that?
Because I think that's how these sub shows go. I mean, people. Well, you know, I don't know. You're right.
Yeah, don't do that to me. Like when you don't know for sure. Because when I watch it, I'll keep thinking every moment, oh, I hope Batman's going to be in it.
Right.
Like that.
Well, I don't want you to get your hopes up. I personally, if I had to gamble, I would think no. Robert Pattinson will not appear.
I'm sorry to differ with you, sir. But you are the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker.
Chilling.
Well, I don't know what I don't know what I want to say on this topic now. So,
all right. Well,
either we're coming down to seeing people in the trees, or leaving it on a topic about. I know you wanted to mention the film Screwballs.
No, I didn't actually. I wanted to do a whole hour about Screwballs, so I don't think it's appropriate for us to bring it up now because to give it justice, the justice and the due it deserves.
Well, I think we could jump forward straight away to Meatballs, actually.
Yeah.
I think there was a Meatballs 4.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember my film school professor, she told me why what Meatballs was important to Hollywood for some reason, and it was filmed in Canada. I can't remember what the big deal was. There's something about it though.
It's a great film. That's why I think.
Well, there's no question about that. It teaches you to put a sausage in your pants to attract women.
Well, in Meatballs 4, it featured Corey Feldman and Jack Nance was in it.
Okay.
So,
that's something.
Maybe think about that next time before you criticize it.
Absolutely. I'm ashamed of myself. Anyway.
Okay, well, fine. I think we'll end it on Ashton.
All
she
right.
says that she likes Halle Berry the best as Catwoman.
It's a controversial take, but okay.
I've got to kind of agree on that, to be honest. She had more cat vibes, whilst Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was too sexualized. Well, I thought that the Halle Berry Catwoman was very sexualized, so I suppose
they're all sexualized. They're wearing skin tight outfits. What's her name? Who's the one in the Bale films? What's that actress? Anne Heche? Not Anne Heche.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. I mean, you can't not look sexy if you're wearing that Catwoman outfit, for God's sake.
When you've got a pert derriere.
A pert derriere and whatever cleavage, whatever they used to describe the cleavage.
Jugs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you all for being great, positive people in the chat. Really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be seeing you soon, and hopefully seeing you soon as well, Voltaire.
Thank you, everybody, and everybody have a good weekend. Happy coronation, and enjoy having a king for the first time in a long time. Congratulations.
So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Cheers.